presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are so.
Good evening, Braves fans. I'm Rebecca Capel, and welcome to the Friday Night Showdown presented by Kaiser Permanente Thrive as the Braves open up the second half of the season by hosting the Arizona Diamondbacks. Chip Caray and Paul Bird get all the action started right now on Fox Sports South.
Well, how about that for an introduction? Thank you very much, Rebecca, as we start the second half of the 2017 season. It's a star-studded affair. 5 All-Stars between the Diamondbacks and the Atlanta Braves, and these two clubs square off in a 3-game weekend series tonight here at beautiful SunTrust Park in Atlanta, Georgia. And hi again, friends, along with Paul Bird, I'm Chip Caray. Welcome to the second half of the year. Paulie, it's a 75-game sprint for Atlanta till the end of regular season play. A terrific first half for the Braves, an 11-game improvement from one All-Star break to the next. But whether or not the Braves are buyers or sellers at the trade deadline might be determined by what comes up on the schedule here in the next 2 weeks. It is not an easy run of games for the Bravos.
Yeah, I was asked that very question today, and they could do a little bit of both. They could buy and sell and still get better, but you're right. This schedule coming up is very tough, and we're about to see what the Braves are made of. You see the Diamondbacks playing great. How about that record? Second most wins in the NL. Now, the Cubs are struggling, but they're defending World Series champs. We know they're very good. They are going to play better. We just hope it comes after they play the Braves, rounding out with the Dodgers and D-backs.
And the Philadelphia Phillies at the end of a very long road trip, and we all know that the Phillies have given the Braves a few fits already this year. But what's done is done. We look ahead to a fun second half of the season with R.A. Dickey, the Braves' most consistent starter, getting the ball for Atlanta in Game 1 of the weekend set. It's a hot night. Atlanta's hottest pitcher goes to work next. It's the Braves and the Diamondbacks. Lineups at first pitch coming right up. Night showdown, the Arizona Diamondbacks and the Atlanta Braves, presented by Kaiser Permanente Thrive. It is a hot, muggy night for baseball in Atlanta, Georgia. Great to have Birdie alongside for My partner Joe Simpson. Joe's off this weekend. He'll be back with us Monday. So, Paulie, let's see if you can keep the good times rolling for the Braves here at SunTrust Park. And behind R.A. Dickey, you've got to like their chances. He's pitched well here, and he's on a very nice roll on the mound right now.
Well, I like it, Chip. And Joe, I know you're listening. I hope you're enjoying the break. How about R.A. Dickey? Previous 9 starts. Last 4 starts. Look at that, Chip. 2-0 with the 1 ERA. And as a former pitcher, I don't really care what I did in April. I want to know how I'm feeling right now. And you get in that groove, you start to feel good. Pitches very well at home as well.
So as he faces an Arizona lineup that has a very potent offense, what are RA's forward keys to victory tonight?
Well, he talks about the door frame. Sometimes when he tries to throw hard, he'll pull and fly open. He wants to pitch in that door frame, have everything going straight to home, that good momentum. And then as all pitchers, he wants to get ahead in the count. But Chip, here's the difference with him. I don't want to be behind in the count, throwing a knuckleball that's dancing all different directions. So I want to stay ahead in the count. And when that happens, the hitters come up and they're more prone to chase.
Well, Arizona's got a very potent lineup. Arizona is 5th in runs scored in the National League. They've outscored their opponents by a whopping 102 runs. However, they are not as fearsome away from Chase Field as they are on their home diamond. Still, their Toyota starting 9 features A.J. Pollock leading off. David Peralta's a Braves killer. All-Star Paul Goldschmidt, the first baseman. Jake Lamb made the All-Star team this year. He's the cleanup man. Owings, Drury, Daniel Descalso, Jeff Mathis, the veteran catcher, and Taijuan Walker, who came over from the Seattle Mariners, will pitch for Torey Lovullo and the Arizona Diamondbacks, who, were it not for a real bad slump at a real bad time before the All-Star break, Paulie, would be a lot closer than 7.5 games behind the Dodgers out west.
Yeah, still playing very well. They did go into a little slump there, but I like Torey. Played with him in Philadelphia. He is a great man. He has been a great leader on this team. We'll talk about more about him during the game, but these guys are clicking, so we'll see.
So nice crowd filing in here at SunTrust Park for Friday night fireworks for the Braves and the Diamondbacks. And A.J. Pollock, once he adjusts his earplugs, will be able to stand in, concentrate, and focus on the knuckleballs from R.A. Dickey. Okay, guys, you can turn the music off now.
Hey, we're fired up, Chip, after that All-Star break.
Well, Dana DeMuth has to look up to the control room to our right. We're a couple of minutes late, but nonetheless, the second half will be officially underway as A.J. Pollock leads off for Arizona. 288 hitter, 3 homers, 12 RBIs. And first one way upstairs. 1 ball, no strikes.
Congratulations to Ender Inciarte on making that All-Star team. And this is the guy that they chose to keep over him. Broken elbow last year. Came back late and pulled his groin. Pulled that same groin this year and missed some games.
Yeah, the elbow injury to Pollock was a real freak injury, too. They were playing an exhibition game before the start of regular season play on their home field. He slid into home plate and fractured his elbow on a seemingly innocent slide, and losing Pollock was a huge blow for the Arizona ball club, which also had David Peralta miss a lot of time. So really nothing went right for Arizona last year. Supposed to be a big season for them to step forward and contend in the West. Instead, they lost 93 games and finished in 4th place. But it's a new year this year, and Torey Lovullo's club pitching well, hitting well, playing well.
No, they've done a heck of a job. And, you know, Pollock's only played in just 12 games this year. So it's kind of like Freddie Freeman in that you're getting back a guy that's just so important. He's the spark plug, top of that lineup, can do a little bit of everything. And they've done a nice job winning without one of their major players.
And it's a leadoff walk. So Pollock's aboard to start the game for Arizona. He's got 13 stolen bases, and that is a rare sign indeed for R.A. Dickey, Paul. I think that's something you'd agree is a big reason for his late success.
Yeah, he's got to get ahead early. The knuckleball's dancing. Chip, when it gets hot, that's what I like about it right now. When it gets windy, he's pitched better at home. When it gets hot, that knuckleball dances a little bit more, and he's able to stay ahead in the count, falling behind on that one.
So David Peralta, the batter, hitting .312 for the year. He takes a called strike. 8 homers, 27 knocked in for Peralta. He went to the DL 3 separate times last season for the Diamondbacks. Had a bad back and then had wrist surgery. And a close play at first. Pollock safely back. This is a very good Arizona club. They had 53 wins at the break. That's more wins than they've ever had in franchise history before the All-Star game. As this one's tapped up the middle. Phillips steps on the bag, and that's all he can get. Nice play by Brandon to get the force of Pollock. Peralta at first, one man down.
That's not an easy play right there with the backhand on the run with your leadoff hitter going to second, who's got good speed. Did a really nice job. Knows he can only get one right here. Excellent. Gold Glover for a reason.
So now Atlanta gets to tangle with Paul Goldschmidt for the first time in the series. Goldschmidt with 20 homers, 67 RBIs, and coming off his 5th All-Star game appearance. Up the middle, off Dickey's glove, and then he stumbles trying to recover, and no play. So a little pot of gold for Goldschmidt on that play. Dickey just couldn't corral it, and everybody's safe. 2 on, 1 out.
Ball up in the zone and just misses it. How about the effort right there, Chip? He wanted that ball, just couldn't get to it in time.
So that'll be an infield hit for Goldschmidt. And Jake Lamb is coming up, another 20 homer man. And like Paul Goldschmidt, also 67 knocked in. His good offensive work finally rewarded Paul. Last year he had very similar numbers but didn't make the National League All-Star team.
Yeah, and I think, you know, Chip, I was talking to Dave Magnan, their hitting coach. He said coming into spring training last year, he went to a higher leg kick and he lowered his hands in an effort to lift the ball. And so last year he hit almost 30 home runs.
He's going to hit into a double play once Camargo makes the throw, and Dickey is out of the first inning. Nothing doing for Arizona, and a very special event is coming up here in Atlanta. It's time for the first chop of the night. And we will see who tonight's special chopper is and how he will do when we come back to SunTrust Park after a scoreless top of the first. Honor to lead the first chop of the ball game, and Paul Bird getting ready, limbering up. He's got the tomahawk, and here he goes. Grab it, Paul. Swing away. Get the cord out of the way. Now he's ready. No millennial action here. No selfies. This is old time, old school chopping going on here before the Braves bat in the bottom of the first inning. There we go. Paul's going to need a massage and about a 15-minute break. That was like a gigantic workout.
For those of you making fun of me, that tomahawk chop is about 45 pounds. Chip, I needed to stretch out or train for it. I wasn't ready.
How's your rotator cuff?
I also have, poor rhythm, so I may have been off time, but it was just us, so nobody will know.
Well, hey, you did a good job. You didn't drop the tomahawk. That's the first rule of business. So nicely done as the Braves come up here in the bottom of the first inning with Ender Inciarte, a Braves all-star, leading off.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Taijuan Walker with a big fastball delivers a called strike.
Chip, I really like watching Ender play. I mean, I don't care if he goes 0 for 4. I hope he goes, 5 for 5. But he has an impact in this game, the way he plays the game. He gets on base. He creates havoc on the base paths. He takes great routes to balls in the outfield. He is not the fastest guy in the league, but you would think he is sometimes by the plays he makes. And I really love what he has added to this Braves team, because let's face it, they've needed a leadoff hitter for a number of years, and he's been that guy.
112 hits for Inciarte, who just took a ball off the plate from Taijuan Walker, who came over from the Seattle Mariners. Gene Segura went north, and Taijuan Walker, a young 24-year-old right-hander, fires away, and it's off the screen, foul.
And look at those home starts versus the road. Arizona is a hitter-friendly park, so when he gets on the road, he likes that. In general, you're going to see 95 miles an hour. You're going to see a nasty split, and then he is learning this year the difference between a cutter and a slider. In other words, he throws both, but sometimes he didn't know how to control both. One has a little bit sharper break, one has a bigger break. The cutter is late and sharp, just like your fastball. The slider is slower and bigger, has a little more tilt to it, and he is learning how to distinguish between the two and throw both.
2-2 pitch is lined over third. A base hit for Inciarte, who's around first and on his way to second. It's a leadoff double for Ender Inciarte. He's just amazing.
There's our all-star, Chip. Don't miss over the middle. Doesn't try to do too much. Shoots it the other way. Head on the baseball. Nice job. 17th double of the year. Got to watch that wall, Chip. There's not a lot of foul territory here at SunTrust Park. The Diamondbacks learning this field today earlier at BP.
Here's Brandon Phillips hitting .280. And he takes a little low. Let's face some facts here. The Braves aren't necessarily a young team. They're not all 35 and older, don't misunderstand, but I think that all-star break came at a perfect time for guys like Brandon Phillips, for that man Matt Kemp, for Nick Markakis, guys that have been around a long time. And Freddie Freeman's already had his break with a month and a half on the disabled list. And I think that the toll of the hot weather, the long games that we've been playing, certainly affected some of the batting averages of the guys in the top half of the Braves lineup card. Phillips certainly one of them.
Going around in the locker room today asking the guys what they did. Everybody said they rested, hung out at the pool, maybe a cookout, and that was it. And when you travel game after game and you go here and there and you have a little break, you certainly want to just relax and recharge.
Yeah, a whole lot of nothing was pretty common response.
Is that what you did?
A whole lot of nothing.
There you go.
I'm good at that. Got that covered.
You must be a veteran too.
2 balls, no strikes. With Inciarte at second, and Brandon whistles one off the screen to the right side, foul. It's 2-1. Nothing went right for the Diamondbacks last year. Zach Greinke had a pedestrian first half of the year. Shelby Miller had all kinds of problems again before having Tommy John surgery this year. So they wanted to upgrade their rotation. Walker was one of their targets, and they got him. A young, controllable power arm that's going to fit in very nicely in the desert for a long, long time, assuming he can stay healthy, and we certainly hope he does. This kid was the #1 prospect in the Mariners organization for 2 years, 2012 and 2014.
And he has excellent career numbers in the big leagues. He's done a really nice job at such a young age. And a lot of times they say pitchers come into their own around 31 and start to mature. But he, at such a young age, has really navigated his way through the league and done a great job.
Two balls, two strikes. And a good battle here with Brandon Phillips, who will see another pitch.
You see that ERA, 438 innings. Good strikeout to walk ratio. Opponents only hitting 246. That's great stuff coming right in. You know, and for a young power arm, the tendency is I'm going to see how hard I can throw it. He is another one of those guys who's still figuring out a breaking ball at this level, learning it.
How about that veteran at bat by Brandon Phillips? Close play at first, but he's out by a step. Productive out. NCRT at third base with one man out, as the Braves' number 3 hitter on the lineup card has a chance to put his club in front. Freddie Freeman playing third base again tonight in the middle of the Toyota starting 9 with Kemp, Markakis 4th and 5th. Adams, Flowers, Johan Camargo starts again at shortstop for the 3rd time in the last 6 games. And R.A. Dickey will pitch and bat 9th. I think it's safe to say, Paul, that the disabled list did not affect Freddie Freeman at the plate.
I have never seen anybody say, how many at-bats do you need before you're ready? He says 20, and then he has 6 or 7. And he says, you know, I took a slider on the outside corner. I know I'm ready now. And he is. Freddie, I probably need to apologize to you. I wasn't sure.
Well, his good work off the DL is our Georgia Lottery jackpot feature tonight.
See that nice average in the last 6 games. And you know, for a couple months when you don't see live pitching, that's like starting spring training all over again. But he has not needed that, which is just remarkable.
Good first inning for Atlanta, forcing the pitch count of Walker up. He's up to 15 on a muggy night. He's got the long sleeves on too. Walker's not a guy that usually pitches much beyond the 6th inning. In fact, he's gone 6 innings or more twice. Excuse me, more than 6 innings twice in his last 9 starts. So a lot of foul balls against him here in the early going. A couple of early runs wouldn't hurt either.
Certainly got great stuff. You see Torey Lovullo over there.
No balls, 2 strikes. Strike 3 inside corner, a breaking ball. Freddie didn't expect that, and that's a big pitch for Taijuan Walker. 2 men down.
So this is the slider right here, supposed to be on the outside corner. Comes down and in, perfectly located pitch. Mistake, but it was worked out well for him.
That's one of the best pitches we've seen to retire Freddie Freeman all year. Maybe it was a mistake, but boy, was it an effective one. That's a big second out. That brings up Matt Kemp. See if Matt can pick up NCRT here with a 2-out knock, and he takes a strike. Kemp's the only Brave in the Atlanta lineup that has seen Taijuan Walker in the big leagues. He's 1 for 6 against him with a couple of strikeouts. Hot shot, base hit. It's 1-0 Atlanta. That's the Matt Kemp we've grown to know and love here in Atlanta. His bat started to come to life in Washington. And after the break, he rips an 0-1 pitch for the first run of the night.
Now there's where you hit your spot, but you're not rewarded. As you can see, Matt Kemp turning on that fastball in. I like this inning, Chip, because what happens is you have Freddie Freeman, who hasn't seen Walker, strikes on a slider that he's never seen before, but you got a teammate come up and pick him up. And let's not forget, as you mentioned earlier, Brandon Phillips moving him over to third to make that happen.
So Nick Markakis with 2 outs. And He takes strike. Nick's pursuit of 2,000 hits continues tonight. He's 17 away from that amazing milestone. '46 first half RBIs for the Braves right fielder. And just like that, it's 0-2.
I call him the silent assassin. He is all business in that locker room. Reminds me of Darren Erstad. His game face is on early, and when I asked him how his All-Star break was, he said not long enough.
He is a veteran after all, right?
And he loves baseball. He's not saying, hey, I don't want to get back out there, but he is so intense. He certainly appreciated the break.
Is it a physical need for rest as much as it is a mental need for rest at the break for a player?
It's both. Baseball's a game where, you know, football is so harsh on your body and you need a week to recover, and you get that and you go back home. Baseball is day after day after day in a hotel room, and basketball, as tough as that is on your body, you don't play day after day after day. And so if you're an everyday player, you know, you're not a starting pitcher that gets 4 days off in between, then this game will take a toll on you. And especially if you're playing through an injury, you're fighting through something, or you're in a position where you're catching, where you're constantly involved on every play. It's something that you need both a mental and physical break. That's why they called the pitchers the kickers.
The kickers?
The kickers.
Shot up the middle. Nice play at short by Chris Owings. He's an excellent defender. And Markakis is robbed here in the first inning. The Braves strike first, and Paul Bird struck me. I'm going to kick him out of the booth, take care of some business, and come back for the second inning.
That is smooth, Chip. Look at that.
Ugh.
In part two, Ender Inciarte leading off the inning with a double. Our all-star is back from Miami. He said it was one of the best moments of his life, and I asked him, since he was the only Brave, who did you hang out with? He said his friends and family were there. He hung out with a lot of the Latin players. Also, former Brave Alex Wood and Josh Harrison and him got pretty close. And I asked him when it hit him that he was an all-star, considered one of the best in the game, and he said it hasn't hit him yet. He thinks it will in a couple of weeks. Chip and Paul, he's pretty good, and he really deserved to be in that game. We're proud to have him back here in Atlanta.
Yeah, Kelsey, that had to be a wonderful thrill for Ender Inciarte. And I have a feeling, Paul, this is the first of what will probably be many all-star appearances for him. But the first one you never forget, I'm sure.
I would agree with you, and I love the fact that he really, really likes being in Atlanta. His dad watched the Braves. They were huge Braves fans, and he said, I want you to play like Andrew Jones. Watch that guy. And here he is in center field running balls down.
So the former Diamondback has scored the game's first run. This is Chris Owings leading off. Owings just made a sensational play to rob Nick Markakis. And Owings having a good first half, a .290 hitter with 12 homers. That's down the right field line, and on a hop that will bounce off the fence. We'll do it again. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Talking with the Diamondbacks, they said he has sneaky power, a little bit underrated. Not a lot of people pay attention to him, and he can leave the yard just like a number of these Diamondbacks players.
That just missed. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Dickey got the ball on the ground a lot in the opening inning. That's a good sign on a breezy night. And that hit him on the way by. So Owings, after falling behind 2 strikes, got hit by a pitch. And he'll be the second Arizona leadoff man to reach in as many innings.
Dickey has a lively knuckleball going on today. I think it has to do with some of the mugginess. Again, there's a little bit of wind swirling here at SunTrust Park. You can see the flags going some different directions, and this park reminds me of Cellular Field a little bit. You can't, the wind comes in from left center field and swirls. It carries to right, can carry to left, but it's not always indicative of the flags. We just know that it swirls, and that's not bad for a knuckleballer, because he wants the wind blowing different directions and that knuckleball reacting to that wind.
This is Brandon Drury, a name that might be familiar to Braves fans in the Southeast. Brandon was a Braves farmhand, you might recall. In 2013, the Braves acquired Justin Upton and Chris Johnson for the Diamondbacks. Martin Prado, Nick Ahmed, Randall Delgado, and Brandon Drury went the other way. And Drury's hit 8 home runs this year, batting .285. He missed inside. They are without Nick Ahmed, who's out with a fractured hand. Martin Prado, of course, is with the Miami Marlins. But Randall Delgado's done good work as well. So neither Chris Johnson nor Justin Upton still with the Braves. 3 big principals still a part of the Diamondbacks and part of their core. That turned out to be an excellent trade long term for the Arizona club.
You'll see R.A. Dickey pitching on the first base side of the rubber, so you're about 2 feet or a foot and a half closer when you throw to first base. Nice arm position, and that's important for him to be able to hold runners when you throw a pitch that's not 95 miles an hour.
Very solid rookie season for Drury last year. Played 134 games out of Grants Pass, Oregon. And he took a strike. 2-2. Pretty much everywhere Brandon's played, he's been an all-star. He's been to all-star games in 4 minor league stops as a professional player. Last year, the number 3 overall prospect in the Diamondback system. And a very close play. And to keep an eye on Owings, he's stolen 11 bases. Foul back. That's a great angle from behind home plate in the SunTrust club seats. Those fans are actually closer to the plate than the pitcher.
That's good stuff. And this is a fun guy to watch because you don't know if it's going to be a pass ball, if it's going to be a strikeout, if it's going left, right, up, down. And there's just not many like him. I see fastballs, I see sliders, I see curveballs every night. But you know, I said this, we did a charity event and I introduced R.A. Dickey and I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is the best knuckleball pitcher in the world. And the kids went nuts, you know, and it's true though, you know, as much as I was teasing around, he really is. It's such a rare art form. I really enjoy watching him pitch and his craft.
Well, I think it's safe to say he has been arguably the most consistent starter for the Braves in rotation this year, especially here at home. Talk a lot about the home field disadvantage that the Braves have, not knowing truly how SunTrust Park plays. It has not affected Dickey adversely at all. As a pop fly into shallow center. Inciarte makes the play. Drury's retired. There's the first out. Look at what R.A. Dickey has done in his last 3 starts on his home mound.
And that's really important, Chip, because the pitchers have struggled here. You hear this is a bandbox, and the other team's got to pitch in the same park. So when you have a guy take the field to come out, and he's a veteran, and really pitch and attack the hitters and not care about the fences or the way the ball carries, everybody else follows suit and sees that.
Here's a veteran named Daniel Descalso, the former Cardinal, former Rocky, now current Diamondback, playing left field for them. You heard Rebecca talking about that on Braves Live. Number 1, Descalso's in there for those good numbers head to head with R.A. Dickey, but also Yasmani Tomas is injured. He's got a groin problem and is on the disabled list. And a hot shot. Phillips played it to the side, can't knock it down. And runners are at first and second for Arizona with 1 out.
This ball's hit on the screws. You see, just goes past Phillips there. I think he would tell you he should have had that ball, but we got a Gold Glover and would have liked to have seen him get in front of that a little bit more, knock it down. But he has such good hands. Sometimes he plays the ball off to the right or left.
So we await the scoring as Arizona has 2 on with 1 out. You've got Jeff Mathis up there. He's a catcher. See if R.A. can get a ground ball and a double play. And Descalso is awarded a hit. So he's at first. Owings at second after being hit by a pitch. And Mathis, one of 3 catchers on the Arizona roster. You don't see that too often anymore. And that's in for a strike. It's 0-2. Chris Herman and Chris Iannetta, the other Arizona catchers. Arizona playing with a 7-man bullpen. And 5 extra players. Fly ball center. Enter on the run. Still going. Still going. Reaches up shy of the track. And makes a fine running catch to Rob Mathis. Owings to third on the tag play, and they're at the corners with 2 out. Look at a ground into Inciarte, covered on that drive.
That's what we're talking about earlier. Great route to the baseball. This is not an easy play over the side. Great jump on the ball. We like that arm. Gathers himself. Again, he's making a tough play look easy. And a huge out for the Braves.
So with the pitcher up there, you like the chances, although Taijuan Walker's not done a bad job swinging the bat in National League play. He's knocked in a couple of runs. 5 hits and a 185 average. Line to second and right at Phillips, and R.A. Dickey protects a 1-0 lead. Adams, Flowers, and Camargo are coming up. 1-0 Braves as we start the second half at home tonight.
Academy Sports and Outdoors. For all, for less.
With Paul Bird and Kelsey Winger, Chip Carey, and the rest of our great Fox Sports South crew with you from Atlanta. Boy, it's a beautiful night. Chop House is doing great business. Big crowd here for the Braves, Diamondbacks, and Friday night fireworks as Atlanta trying to win its 43rd game this season and get the weekend off to a flying start with the Snakes from the desert southwest in town. Taijuan Walker late to the mound. He made the last out last half inning.
I agree. A lot of energy here, Chip. In case you're joining us late, music played into the first pitch. Had to signal that off. A lot of energy. Everybody enjoying the food. I think the battery around here is fantastic. The restaurants, the park, the center field, things you can do for kids. It's fantastic, and I love seeing the fans respond.
Yeah, and if you have major plans this weekend, come on out. Good tickets available for Saturday night's game. It's a 7:10 start. And then Sunday, the Braves finish off the series at 1:35. First pitch, Braves live a half hour earlier each day. As Matt Adams leads off for Atlanta, 1-0 Braves, home second against Taijuan Walker. That's fouled back out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Matt's riding a 3-game hitting streak, 5 hits, including a homer in that stretch. And a little late on that good fastball. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
As you mentioned, a lot of these guys seeing Walker for the first time. Advantage definitely goes to the pitcher in that regard.
And that one tipped and caught up and away from Adams. That's the second strikeout for Walker. 1 away.
You've heard us talk about effective velocity, and this ball's just getting on you, so it's 93 miles an hour up above the strike zone. There's good high and there's bad high. As a hitter, that could have laid off, but it just looks so good. And Walker with that explosive fastball that has a really nice effective velocity to it.
Tyler Flowers hitting 7th tonight and batting .306. During this great run by R.A. Dickey, Tyler Flowers has been his personal catcher, if you will, and those two seemingly have a good thing going, so why mess with that? Little roller hit toward third. Lamb, bare hand play, and a good one. 2 outs. That guy is not bad at all at third base.
Yeah, he's sharp. That's an excellent play. And in all fairness to Lamb, he's a great hitter. When I got the scouting report on him, he was just okay defensively. He said Drury was a little bit more of a natural third baseman, but sometimes you just got to put the spokes in the right place. As you see Freddie over at third, not his natural position, but if that's what makes the team go, putting people in certain positions where you can be the best as a team, then that's what you got to do.
So Lamb also an all-star. Made a great play to get Flowers. Here's Johan Camargo starting at shortstop now for the 3rd time in his last 6 games. Talked with Brian Snitker about the lineup card today, and he said it has nothing to do with anything Dansby Swanson's doing wrong. It has everything to do with everything Johan Camargo is doing right. And he said at this level, when you play and play as well as Johan's playing, you got to play him. And so he gets the start in game 1 tonight.
You've heard Brian Snitker say you never know how a player is going to react when you put the upper level on the back of that stadium. So Camargo has never typically been a great hitter in the minor leagues, but 3 out of the last 4 he's won the defensive award in all of minor leagues. He's absolutely incredible. So what happens when you bring up here? Plays great defense, he hits. So you never know. And there's also people are improving. Brandon Phillips was my teammate with the Indians, and for 4 years he struggled. And they traded him away for not a whole lot. And the next thing you know, he's an all-star in Cincinnati. He improved, he got better. And I think that's what we're seeing with Camargo do with the bat now.
Well, this is what Johan has done as a starter at second base, third base, and shortstop for the Braves. That's our SunTrust confidence player. Not too shabby.
I've seen him. You remember Willie McGee?
Sure.
He's got a little Willie McGee in him. He'll take a bad swing like that and he'll get jammed and he won't look. And as a pitcher, you say, I got him. And then the next thing you know, you see a double off the wall or you see something where he changes. And Willie was baiting people in. And Johan, again, finding himself. And he, too, is learning pitchers as he comes up to this level.
Off the pitcher's glove, and that'll trickle into center field for a base hit. An 8-pitch at bat earns Camargo a 2-out single. The third Atlanta hit of the game. And Walker's got to do a little glove maintenance.
And this is what I'm talking about. You throw a certain pitch and the ball was in before that. So you're going to try and throw the ball by him again. Comes right up the middle.
I thought for a minute it went through the webbing. I guess it just hit the laces of the glove and maybe untied them on the way by into center field. So no need for the glove doctor yet as ARI Dickey bats. The Braves will clear him. Dickey hitting 118 and takes outside, ball 1. That's poked out towards second. And Brandon Drury with the flip to first in time, and that retires the side. Top of the order coming up for Arizona in the third inning. It's still 1-0 Braves in front. After 2 innings, and Paul, you know a little thing or two more about R.A. Dickey tonight.
I got some stuff for you, Chip. We got the same agent, Bo McInnes, in Nashville, Tennessee. So this is insider info. Now, this is the cover of Baseball America. You see his elbow. That's R.A. right there on the cover. This is 1996. Everybody else's arm is straight. His is bent. So Texas drafted him in the first round, and the trainer said, you know what, I don't like the way he's holding that arm. And so the front office said, well, let's send him to Dr. Andrews, and before we sign him, we'll give him an MRI. So they did. He gets an MRI, and Dr. Andrews said, I've never seen this before in my life. You don't have an ulnar collateral ligament. You should not be able to brush your teeth or open a door without severe pain. So I don't know how you're throwing a baseball 95 miles an hour. So Texas offer went from near $1 million to $75,000. RA had a policy on his arm at the University of Tennessee where he could walk away and they would pay him $1 million on the policy, or he could sign for 75 and try professional baseball without a ligament, and nobody gave him a chance. And his response was, this is good news because I'll never need Tommy John surgery.
That's an optimistic way of looking at it for sure.
So there you have it. Now here's what's even better. He's never missed a start or even gone on the DL with elbow problems. He hasn't always thrown the knuckleball through 95 miles an hour with a nasty hook. And The knuckleball was something that he threw on the side, started bringing it into games. He threw it really hard, and he called it the Thang. So he brought the Thang into games, and they said as his velocity declined and he got older, they said, why don't you throw that knuckleball, the Thang, full time? So they sent him down to AAA. He started working on it, and the next thing you know, we got a really long career and a Cy Young.
And a strikeout of A.J. Pollock as well. That's the first of the night for Dickey. 1 up, 1 down. I mean, yeah, you look at Ari's numbers in the minor leagues. First year as a pro was 1997. And Ari didn't have a whole lot of winning years. He had a lot of decisions, a lot of starts, but not eye-popping numbers by any stretch of the imagination. And then in 2005, when he went back to AAA, Charlie Huff was the man that started working with him on that knuckleball.
The Charlie Huff Express. And he would also give credit to other knuckleball pitchers. Phil Niekro, one of them.
Ground ball. Adams can't get it, and David Peralta continues to punish the Braves. He's aboard for a second time. This time with his first hit. But the amazing thing too about R.A. Dickey, the number of teams that he bounced around. You mentioned Texas. The Brewers had him as a minor league player in 2007. Minnesota had him after the 2007. Seattle took him in the Rule 5 pick. Then he went back to the Twins. Then the Mariners traded for him. Then he went back to Minnesota after the 2008 season. Then he went to the Mets, and that's where his career really took off, including the Cy Young season. Then he was traded to Toronto in the big Noah Syndergaard deal, and then the Braves signed him to a 1-year deal with a club option for his services next year. That happened last November. So it really has been an amazing roundabout journey for R.A. Dickey. Faces down Paul Goldschmidt here with 1 on, 1 out. And that's taking a little low.
And that's what he's done on the field. I think when you have a guy that doesn't have a ligament and he says, I'll never need Tommy John and I'm going to prove people wrong, you need that guy in the locker room. Hike Kilimanjaro for charity, married to his high school sweetheart. He is a fantastic guy to have on your team, not just by example, but if somebody gets in trouble, one of the young pitchers, he can walk over and talk to them. Julio Tron, it's not that Julio can't talk to them, but Julio's more of a lead by example guy, works hard, goes at you, a great competitor, and R.A. is those things too, but he can also walk over and have a conversation with the rookie, and is great in the clubhouse.
1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Goldschmidt's down on strikes. I got to think too, as a hitter, this is the absolute worst scenario you want to see coming out of the All-Star break. Whether you went to the All-Star game or not, you've had 4 days off, your timing's already a little rusty, and then you've got to face a guy throwing 82-mile-an-hour knuckleballs and try to beat him.
Yeah, it's just so different, and you know, it can mess your swing up too. Hitters have said that, like, you know, I don't want to face a guy that's that different because it may put me in a slump. I may start doing something different. Johnny Bench, one of my heroes, as great a hitter as he was, they said, who are you most afraid of? And he would say, anyone that throws a knuckleball, for those reasons.
Well, Dickey's had good luck against Arizona, 2-1 against them lifetime. He's only made 3 starts, and his last came in 2012 when he gave up only 1 earned run in 15 innings. So it's a totally different Arizona team. Those numbers don't mean an awful lot, but still, historically, Dickey's done well against the Diamondbacks franchise, which we hope continues tonight. 2 balls, no strikes for Jake Lamb, who pulls it foul past Dave McKay, the first base coach.
If Jake Lamb's mom is watching, I apologize for saying he was just okay on defense. He is certainly a phenomenal hitter, having another excellent year learning to lift the ball. And I think you're going to see more of that with the offense and the live ball era coming back. You're going to see more guys trying to get air under the ball and lift, because if those warning track fly balls are going to start to go out, it's a huge difference.
3 balls and a strike for Lamb, who hit into a double play to end the Arizona first inning. got a corner that time. It's now a full count. What wind there is appears to be blowing out toward the Braves bullpen. Which would favor a left-hand hitter, which is what Lamb is here. The pitch is outside, ball 4. Peralta was running on the full count pitch. He stands at second, and Dickey has issued his second walk. He's not missing by much, but he is missing. You know, Chris Owings is the hitter. He was hit by a pitch his first time up back in the second inning. Arizona's had base runners all over the place so far in the game, but Dickey's kept them down. Sharply hit. Freeman dives to his left and makes the play. That's the first hot shot hit at Freeman at the hot corner, and Cat-like quick on his reflexes makes the diving play to his left, and that ends the Arizona threat in the top of the third inning. Still 1-0 Atlanta. Top of the order coming up. Coming up, top of the order as well, which means Ender Inciarte. It's Toyota Tweet of the Week time. This week's question is, what was your favorite thing from the first half of the Braves season? Tweet us at Fox Sports Braves using the hashtag Braves First Half with a 1, not FIRST. And your tweet could be used in the Braves live post-game shows. Paul, I'm going to put you on the spot. Maybe we can drive some traffic to the Tweet of the Week. What was your favorite thing for the Braves in the first half?
Wow, you are putting me on the spot. Gosh, a lot of things come to mind. I think the most impressive thing for me is the fact that when Freddie Freeman went down, I had this feeling of we're going to drop the next 20 out of 30. And the Braves responded. I really liked how Matt Adams came up, did a nice job, and everybody rallied around that. Brian Snitker didn't pay too much attention to it and said, hey, we're not dependent on any one player to be a good team. We all have to take part and take ownership in this, and I really liked how the Braves played after Freddie went down.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point. That might be a great answer. The Braves, I think, were 24-20 without Freddie Freeman, and we all know how important Freddie is to this Braves franchise, offensively, defensively, in the clubhouse. Yet every single guy on the roster did a little more and helped pick up the slack. You can't replace Freddie Freeman, but they certainly didn't just pack it in and say, oh, here we go, it's going to be a bad first half. It was anything but. And they'll try to build on that momentum for what we hope will be a productive second half of this season.
And along those lines, there were times where I have to confess I thought the Braves were going to go into a tank. They struggled. They lost 3 or 4 in a row. And
Ender lines to Lamb, who wasn't fleeced on that play. There's the first out.
And the next thing you know, they would battle back and they would win 3 or 4 in a row. And some of those were late inning comebacks. They did a really nice job never giving up. And I appreciate that. It was very fun to watch. And then when guys like Newcomb came up and looked fantastic, he struggled the last couple. But in general, I think that was contagious to other people. There's a lot of excitement in the farm system. So these Braves are fun to watch. There's a reason this stadium is full.
Brandon Phillips had a very productive at bat in the first inning. He grounded out to second, but that ground out got Ender Inciarte to third base, and he later scored on a Matt Kemp single, and that's tonight's only run so far. That's hit toward Owings at short. He'll load up. And a perfect strike to Goldschmidt. 2 outs. 5 groundouts for Taijuan Walker so far tonight. And here's Freeman, who struck out on a front door breaking ball in the bottom of the first inning. That's out of play right side, strike 1.
That's the same pitch you got him on last time. Sometimes as a pitcher, you'll do that. You'll test the waters and say, you know, he didn't look very good on that. I'm going to get strike 1 with that pitch. And you could see Freddie sitting that. That's the only way he's going to swing at a first pitch breaking ball, if he is sitting first pitch breaking ball, which he did and was ready for it. Just pulled it foul.
Well, we know he likes to ambush first pitches. Just couldn't keep it fair. And now he takes a fastball high. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Chipper used to do that. You say, how does he swing that first pitch curveball, or how did he take a fastball right down the middle? Well, he's sitting a particular pitch, and if he doesn't get it, he's not going to swing. But if he does get it, then look out, because as a pitcher, I'm trying to get ahead. I'm not trying to throw a nasty first pitch breaking ball. He knows I'm talking about him. There he is.
Good to see Chipper at the ballpark with his lovely wife Taylor. The pitch is high. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
We got to change that Mizuno polo to a Fox Sports. He's on the right color. But yeah, there we go.
Poked out a play by Freddie. Still 2-2. Diamondbacks have very unique, very colorful uniforms. These are their dark charcoal grays with the turquoise letters and piping. And a comebacker surrounded by a Walker, and he'll flip to first in time, and he's got his first 1-2-3 inning. On we go to the 4th, 1-0. An early lead for Ari Dickey and the Braves.
into the 4th inning, and let me tell you what, we are so excited to be back for the second half of the season. But there's also some exciting things going on down in the minor leagues. So let's check out what happened last night, because there was plenty of action. Checking out AAA, Ronald Acuna making his debut, and he made a statement. He went 3 for 5 with a home run, 2 RBI. Mississippi, Austin Riley 2 for 4 in his debut. Soroka threw 7 scoreless, and in Florida, 7 run innings. For Touki Toussaint. BJ and Rebecca will have more on everything minor league, but for now, let's get you back up to Paul and Chip.
All right, Kelsey, thank you very much. Happy second half to you as well, as Brandon Drury leads off against Dickey here in the 4th inning. 1-0. Atlanta has the lead. And I think we're starting to see, Paul, the fruits of what John Hart and John Coppola talked about a couple of years ago. They not only want a steady stream of young talent, they want a veritable flood of young talent coming to the major leagues, and we've seen some of that already this year. Johan Camargo, Sean Newcomb, Akil Morris, just to name a few, have come up and have played prominent, if not important, roles for the club, and there's more coming. But what a story Mr. Acuna has been, and his rapid rise through the Braves system, and the unbelievable numbers that he's putting up.
Yeah, it's been amazing. He went from the 10th prospect to the top prospect in the Braves organization. And, you know, talking with Cop, he says, Paul, we have 7 or 8 #1 starters. That doesn't mean everybody coming up is going to be Clayton Kershaw, but if you hit on just a few of those guys, you're going to be okay. And then you see Newcomb coming up, showing better control, even pitching better up here. Now he's still going to have some bumps in the road, but his stuff has been fantastic, and more coming. And then out of nowhere, we got a hitter who everyone's comparing to Andrew Jones.
Drury to center. Ender drifts back and makes the play. So you want to stick around for the 7th inning, because Rebecca and Brian Jordan have an extended feature and an extended look at Ronald Acuna and his swing and all the great things he's been doing in the minor leagues. So make sure you stay tuned for that later on tonight from SunTrust Park.
They said in batting practice in the Futures game, he put on an absolute show. And there is no substitute for raw power.
Here's Descalso. He singled his first time up and takes an inside corner strike.
Batting 7th, but 6 for 11 off Dickey in his career.
Down the right field line. That's trouble if it's fair. It is. It bounces off the base of the fence. And Descalso is 2 for 2 with a single and a double. And he's in scoring position with 1 out here in the top of the 4th inning.
Ball breaking in. It is a knuckleball, but had cutter action. As you can see, double down the line.
So Jeff Mathis will try to bring home Descalso. He's the 8th place hitter. Mathis has been around a long time. Little tapper. Dickey lets it go by. Wise decision. Phillips with the flip to first. Now Walker comes in with 2 outs and a man at third base. So productive out, but it costs Arizona the 2nd of the inning. And once again, Walker's coming up. He hit the ball on the button, but lined out his first time up.
And you say productive out because with other pitchers, that would not be productive. You don't want to move a guy over with 2 outs, but you know, with Dickey throwing, he can have a pass ball on occasion. Not easy to catch at all. Tyler Flowers, we're talking a lot about RA, but Tyler has been doing an excellent job tonight, as you see with that split stance. So this is dangerous. Tyler puts that one knee out in front because he doesn't know if the ball is breaking right or left. So he wants to clear that knee so that his elbow won't get in the way, or knee won't get in the way of that elbow.
Adams to his right, boxed it, didn't panic. Dickey got to the bag, and that will retire the side. No runs, 1 hit. Arizona thwarted again. Middle of the order coming up for Atlanta with a 1-0 lead.
Baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. And by Delta Airlines.
Let's see if the Braves can add some insurance here in the fourth inning. 1-0. The man that drove in the lone run is going to lead things off. That's Matt Kemp. MLB.com at Bat is your #1 mobile app for live Braves baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Atlanta Braves home screen icons and app features, as well as game day, live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat today. Once again, Walker made the final out, so he's a little late getting back to the hill. He'll wrap up his warm-up tosses and face Kemp, Markakis, and Matt Adams. Very important stretch of games for the Atlanta Braves. We know Atlanta's trying to get back to 500, but to do that, they're going to have to beat Arizona, a playoff contending club. The Chicago Cubs, the defending world champions. 4 in LA, 3 in Arizona, and then we fly cross country for a 4-game series with the Phillies, and that wraps up play, Paul, in this month of July. The Braves only have 8 home games all month. This is home game number 3 in July against Arizona.
I asked Brian Snitker what he felt about that, and he said, we're going to take it one game at a time. We're going to compete and see what we got. It's definitely going to be a good test for the Braves.
Matt Kemp, a little roller toward third. Lamb's got it, and he makes the peg to first. 1 pitch and 1 out. So 5 straight retired by Walker. Here's Markakis. He got robbed in the first inning. Great play up the middle by Owens.
Nice season. Look at those RBIs. He always seems to get the job done. He is somebody that I really like to watch hit because he hits to the situation. He's not afraid to move a guy over. He's unselfish and always seems to study the pitcher and know what's coming, and really has a great idea, and that comes with the amount of time that he's played up here.
Is that a changeup?
It is.
Haven't seen many of those tonight from him, but that one was perfect. 1 ball, 1 strike.
I believe that was the cutter that he just backed up a little bit on him. 91, a little bit 4 miles an hour off his fastball, working on a cutter and a slider, trying to go in. And there it is at 91, in on the hands. That's a tough pitch for a left-hander to hit if it's up. Down and into the lefty's a nitro zone, but if you get that cutter up and in, looking just like a fastball with late movement, very, very tough if you hit it well to keep fair.
2-2 pitch. Popped him up. Owings broke in, now drifts back. And he makes the catch. There's out number 2.
So we're going to use all our Fox cameras here. So this is the cutter, and so you're going to see off center of the baseball. It's like a half moon. You see that, and you really put pressure. It's just going to be a mile an hour or 2 off your fastball, cut late. The slider, I'm going to move over on the side of the baseball, get more, and I'm going to turn at a downward angle. That's the difference in the last 2 pitches. The last pitch at 86 miles an hour with the bigger break. When you throw those back-to-back off each other, sometimes it's very tough. And now he's going to drop a curveball on us. Who is this guy? How many pitches does he have? That's not even in the scouting report. What's going on around here, Chip?
This guy's a good pitcher, man. See why Arizona liked him. Makes you wonder why Seattle gave up on him. Last year with the Mariners, Taijuan Walker went 8-11, made 25 starts. He had foot surgery, which interrupted his season. This is a guy that was the Mariners' #1 prospect for a couple of years, and still very young. They moved him to the Diamondbacks for an offensive player, Gene Segura, and a couple of others. With pitching so hard to find and all the problems Seattle has had with their starting rotation because of injury this year, with all due respect to Segura, I'm guessing right now that's a deal that maybe Seattle wishes they could rethink, because Walker's taking the ball every 5th day and he's pitched well by and large this year.
It's always dangerous when you let a guy go that has a nice frame, good velocity, good arm action, and is learning. Because again, if he figures something out, that's a won't look good on you that you let him go, but they may have had some reason that we don't know about, but it's hard to figure that out right now.
Well, they needed to cover up shortstop, and Segura had a resurgent year with the Diamondbacks. But again, he went from Seattle, which is one of the best pitchers parks in baseball, and didn't pitch badly in the American League with the DH. Well, here he's gone to one of the great hitters parks, and he's 6-4 with a 3.65 ERA. So Mike Butcher's done real good work. Fly ball toward right. Long run, Peralta into the corner and near the line, makes the play. And Matt Adams is retired, and the Braves are sent down in order for the 2nd consecutive inning. We go to the 5th. In Atlanta, time for a live look in from our Xfinity cam. Atlanta leads the Diamondbacks 1-0 in the first meeting head-to-head between these clubs this year. A real quirk of the schedule. We'll see Arizona the next 2 days, and then 8 days from Sunday we go back to face the Diamondbacks out west. I really don't like that on the schedule.
Yeah.
We don't see the teams from the West but twice a year, and to see them twice in a 9-10 day span just seems kind of crazy. Hopefully that'll be adjusted when the new schedules come out for the 2018 season next year. Let's spread it out. Freddie Freeman cuts it off the third. High throw, but Adams came down and applied the tag. Freddie Freeman's made that play at first base a time or two. Good play with the glove. Bad throw, but Adams saved him a throwing error for the first out.
He really did, and we're getting to see Freddie challenged a little bit here today. You saw the hot shot earlier. There's the running man where he's got to throw on the run. Not a horrible throw, but Adams comes up with it. How about the big tight end, Chip? And that's, not a throw that he's used to. He's used to throwing at first base, turning and throwing everything to his right or straight in at home. Now he's asked to throw in the complete opposite side of the diamond. Now he's got to throw as he's running. So he is learning, but he's getting the job done.
And I would think in a perfect world in that play, he'd like to set his feet and make what they call the crow hop. But he recognized who was running. Pollock can get down the line quickly, so he didn't want to waste any time and maybe rush things. But a big target at first base to make the play, and Matt Adams.
That's a great point. He's always conscious, a smart player. You're right. There's a lot of times where you cannot set your feet, and that was one of them. So he's not as smooth as Camargo. You know, Camargo's smooth as a chocolate swirl. It's like butter, talking with Ron Washington. But he said, Freddie, you know, doesn't have that kind of look, but he makes the plays.
Peralta shoots one down the left field line, out of play, foul, and a fan from Moultrie, Georgia made the play. Fans from Moultrie love sitting down the third base line
absolutely.
Here at SunTrust Park. It was a nice catch on a hop. So 2 strikes for Peralta.
Another thing, too, that I admired on the All-Star break yesterday, Freddie's out here taking ground balls.
Strike 3. Peralta's rung up, and he turns to argue with Dana Demuth. I don't know, anybody can argue a knuckleball. Pitcher doesn't know where it's going. The batter doesn't know where it's going.
Now watch this quick pitch.
Doesn't either.
He didn't lift his leg. He didn't do anything. He just went right at it, and that could be something that Peralta is complaining about because there wasn't consistency there. But you are allowed to change things up, and now he's questioning because he hasn't seen that, and he gave up on it.
If you're in the box, you better be ready. Smart play by Dickey. And here's Goldschmidt, and this is how you want him to hit. Base is empty and 2 outs.
The old knuckleball quick pitch.
Try that.
That's what I used to use in the backyard wiffle ball game facing my uncle.
Pitch. How'd that work out for you?
I could never throw it, Chip, or I would still be playing. A lot of people say that, like, well, why didn't you start throwing a knuckleball? Why doesn't somebody? It's extremely hard to throw, to learn, to bring it in a game because you have to have consistency with it. We've all thrown a knuckleball that's just nasty and it falls off the table and everybody laughs. But you have to repeat that over and over and over again. And when you make a mistake, it's hung on a platter and ends up in the seats.
R.A. Dickey's shoes not the only thing getting tied up in this game. The Arizona batsmen are as well. They have 4 hits, but they've struck out 3 times, and they've already left 6 men on base. And a ground ball to second. Phillips to a knee. That'll be that. R.A. rolling along. He's through 5 with a shutout. He needed just 10 pitches that inning.
As we head to the bottom of the 5th, welcome back into our Fox Sports set here in the Battery, Atlanta. I'm Rebecca Capel for this Xfinity game break. The Cubs will be in town on Monday to start a 3-game series, but tonight they're in Baltimore. Take you to it, top of the 1st. No score, 1 out. Runners on the corners. Wilson Contreras nails a 3-run homer to center off Kevin Gausman. That's his 12th of the year, and Chicago wasn't done. Very next batter, Kyle Schwarber. That's a solo shot to almost the identical spot. Number 14 for him. Cubs lead the Orioles right now 8-1 in the bottom of the 3rd.
Great game break, Rebecca. Yeah, the Cubs are in next. And Cubbies have been a frankly disappointing team so far this year. Paul, defending the world championship. Joe Madden was very honest about how his team has underachieved offensively. They've been playing behind a lot. Their starting pitching's been just okay, I think it's safe to say. And that's why the Quintana move was so big for them.
And that's what shocks me about the Cubs is their pitching, I felt was going to be better than that. And I'm not saying they're going to repeat, but I think everybody felt like, how can they not? They're primed for that, but just really, really struggling, and shows you how tough this game is to predict. But same thing with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, I was going to say, though, they're playing in the right division, are the Cubs. Despite being 2 games under 500, they're 5.5 games out of first. And they made the first big move trade-wise with Milwaukee, the Cardinals, and the Pirates all within 7 games of the division lead. Tyler Flowers strokes one toward right center field. Peralta turns. That ball is high off the bricks. And Tyler Flowers leads off the home 5th with a stand-up double. That ball jumped.
They really did great job of hitting the ball where it was pitched. Ball was on the outside corner. He was able to stay behind it, drive the ball the other way with some good pop. That's tough to do even when you're choked up on the bat a little bit, to get that kind of oomph behind it, unless you're Aaron Judge, which we saw in the home run contest. Hitting the ball the other way is an art. Phenomenal staying behind the ball.
He made a gigantic ballpark look like a phone booth.
I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen guys pop up the ball to the opposite field and it take 20 seconds to come down and it be 10 rows deep. That was just, I thought, well, he mishit that. That's going to be in center field, and it ended up being another home run. I understand when you pull a ball off the wall in left field, but the opposite field power was amazing to me.
Let's see what Camargo can do here with a runner at second and nobody out. And I would think in this situation, Paul, Camargo's not just thinking about getting him over, but maybe getting him in with a pitcher, ARI Dickey, waiting behind him.
You're right on. Definitely wanting to pull the ball, but wanting to put enough behind it, as you can see right there with that swing, to not simply move him over to third.
Johan came into tonight's game hitting over 360 with runners in scoring position. But down 2 strikes. And this one served into shallow center. A.J. Pollock is in. And Camargo cannot advance Tyler Flowers. There's the first out of the inning. That's worst of all possible outcomes there for Camargo. He makes an out but no advance. And now it takes a hit from ARI Dickey for the Braves to score Flowers here in the 5th inning with 1 out.
Terry Francona taught me that all at-bats for a pitcher can be productive. Try to make the pitcher throw 5 pitches, and if you do that, you can tire him out a little bit for the next guy. And Dickey wants to get a hit. He's a competitor. He wants to drive in Flowers right here. But you also don't want to be an easy out.
And speaking of Terry Francona, he's back and managing the Indians tonight. Terry missed the last handful of games while having a irregular heartbeat treated in Cleveland, Ohio before the All-Star break. Cleveland is playing Oakland later tonight. Pitch. He takes a strike. So there's 2 of the 5 that Terry Francona wants to see a pitcher try to utilize here. Got some thunder flashing and lightning flashing, I should say, off in the distance here at SunTrust Park. It's already an official game. The Braves lead 1-0. Pitch is tapped out of play.
And so he did it. This will be the 5th pitch. Tire that pitcher out, because the more that you can make a pitcher throw the ball many times, even late in the game, you're tiring him out for the next guy. And so you have done a good job here.
And that's really been the story for Taijuan Walker this year. He'll give you 6 quality innings, but he has not gone past 6 hardly at all this year. And he's at 82 high stress pitches tonight. And Dickey fouls another one away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Here's where, as a pitcher, when another pitcher's up and they're making you throw a lot of pitches and they're fouling balls off, like that last swing was different than the swing before where he tried to launch. He just tried to foul that off. Now I'm getting frustrated. Now you can see him go to a breaking ball, possibly, maybe overthrow it and get a pass ball.
Little pop toward first. Paul Goldschmidt near the railing, takes a peek and makes a fine basket catch. And the presence of mind to get the ball quickly back in and hold Tyler Flowers at second base. So Taijuan Walker, not at all like Elvis Presley, not all shook up with a leadoff double in a 1-run game. Gets Dickey to pop out, but now he's got to face Ender Inciarte as the Braves try to extend this 1-0 lead.
Inciarte with that big double in the first and a run. Table setting as Matt Kemp drove him in. And now they're talking, trying to decide how to approach Inciarte with Brandon Phillips righty up on deck. You got the righty-righty matchup, but it's a 1-0 game. You do have 2 outs. So this is a situation where you can try to pitch around him or just get a feel for how Walker, how your pitcher feels about the at-bat.
So if you're Walker, who do you want? Do you want Inciarte or do you want Brandon Phillips?
So it depends on my last at bat. It depends on how he took a breaking ball. It depends how he's feeling with the fastball right now. There also could be giving him a little bit of rest, but they're also going to say, hey, regroup right here. What do you want to do? And you may see 3 or 4 sliders in a row because of the way he swung at your slider the last at bat. So a lot factors in when you decide how to pitch a guy.
So let's see what the Diamondbacks decide to do here. And a catcher, Tyler Flowers, leading at second. The pitch to Ender is scorched towards short. And right after the meeting, Owings with a perfect strike ends the Atlanta 5th. Braves got a leadoff double in the bottom of the lineup card. Couldn't advance him. Still 1-0. We go to the 6th. The baseball break brought to you by T-Mobile. The silly season is underway. The big crosstown trade between the Cubs and the White Sox stunned a lot of folks. Not that Jose Quintana was moved by the White Sox, but that he went across town to Chicago and the Cubs, and the players' ball that the White Sox got back, 2 of them are supposedly can't-miss prospects.
And I'm going to talk about Dylan Cease, Milton High School local hero, the best right-handed arm in the minor leagues, throwing the ball arguably 100 to 102 miles an hour. He is somebody, you talked about Walker. It's kind of dangerous when you trade that kind of an arm. It can come back to bite you a little bit. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I was shocked at that trade.
Well, Quintana's still a very controllable player for the Cubs. He addresses their rotation needs. We will apparently miss him. He's supposed to pitch Sunday for the Cubs in Baltimore against the Orioles. Jake Lamb pops one out of play. And into the seats on the right side, where a fan from Travelers Rest, South Carolina, made the play.
Man, you're good.
I mean, those are great seats. You know, Travelers Rest, they like to recline, enjoy the game. It's a perfect spot for the fans from South Carolina.
I thought he was from Seneca, but you were right.
No balls, 2 strikes. Nobody on or out. We're in the 6th inning already. The pitch all the way to the backstop. And on the ricochet, R.A. Dickey will get a new baseball.
Yeah, that one was worth a smile.
You know what, though? He could have done something funny there. He had both baseballs in his possession. It ricochets off the bricks. He could have done the old quick switcheroo and had a ball with a scuff on it.
Yes. The ball off the brick, fastball away. It's so hard as a catcher. You know, if I cross a catcher up, you know, there's a lot of frustration on a missed pitch, or, you know, you were supposed to throw a slider, you threw a fastball, and that's really hard. But every pitch, he does not know which direction the ball is going, right or left. And early on, Suzuki catching a lot. Flowers, as of late, has caught Dickey more and done a heck of a job.
And he just got strike 3 over the inside corner. Lamb can't believe it. 4 strikeouts for R.A. Dickey, and 2 of the last 3 hitters have been caught looking. Good start to the 6th.
Perfectly thrown pitch right here. This is a fastball. This is not the knuckleball, right on the inside corner. Tyler with an excellent frame. Little comeback to it. How about R.A.? 84 miles an hour, which looks 100 after throwing the dancing knuckleball.
Chris Owings didn't get it. We talk a lot about pitch framing. We've seen it so many times how one pitch can change an entire at bat, and that one at bat can change the game. Tyler Flowers is getting 9% of pitches that are out of the strike zone called strikes. So think of the number of strikes he steals, how many outs he might be able to steal with that work behind the plate. That Fox Tracks look showed that it wasn't a strike that Lamb took, but he made it look better than it was, and Dana DeMuth rung up his man.
And the way you do that is you don't jerk it over quickly and pull it over 6 inches. It's just 1 or 2 and it's soft. It's easy. Eddie Perez was excellent at doing that, a great receiver. And I'm sure Tyler Flowers is getting a lot of great help from Eddie down there. And you would see guys like Maddox who just loved throwing to somebody like that, and it looked like the ball was always a strike, even though it wasn't. And as important as pitching is in controlling a game, we all hear about dominant starting pitching being #1. If you have a great receiver that makes your pitcher better, you don't care what that guy hits. You just want him getting you pitches and controlling the game. Both catchers, not just Flowers. Mathis is also great at doing that.
2 balls, 2 strikes, bases empty. Chris Owings, the hitter. And that one just missed.
Even saw the frame upwards very quick right there, but didn't get the call.
So the payoff pitch now. And Owings, a line drive to center. Ender can't get there. It's a base hit. So that is the 5th Arizona hit in the game. And Owings represents the tying run. And Brandon Drury is coming up. Right there, a strike. Drury had a terrific year last year. Played left field, right field, second base, third base, even a game at first base for the Diamondbacks, who were so riddled by injury last season. We mentioned the loss of Pollock and Peralta. They had to really work hard to come up with any kind of consistent outfield play last year. And that's really the shame of things for the Arizona ball club. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Dave Stewart and Tony La Russa. Dave Stewart at the time was the general manager of the Arizona club and the man that engineered the Shelby Miller Inciarte Swanson deal. They made that deal because they felt they were another starting pitcher away from being a real force in the National League West, and they felt a change of scenery for Shelby Miller, along with Robbie Ray and Zach Greinke, who they signed, would be just the ticket to challenge the Dodgers at the top of the division. Obviously, that didn't happen. When you factor in the struggles of Shelby Miller, Zach Greinke took a while to adjust to Chase Field and altitude and the injuries. Well, it's no surprise that Arizona was, quote unquote, a disappointing team. So maybe their envisioned plan is coming to fruition, but a year later.
And Shelby Miller was lights out this year for his first 4 starts until he blew out and needed Tommy John. And I wouldn't have predicted that Shelby Miller would have gone over there and struggled. He had an incredible year here with the Braves, didn't get a lot of run support, but he was dominant. So sometimes a trade looks better a few years later, but you have to give Copy credit for that trade because of the guys that he got. And you have an all-star out in center field and a number of players, and it hasn't worked out for Shelby, but it could in the future.
Yeah, and that trade, remember, early last year was a whole lot of hope for a proven major league starter in Shelby Miller, and that hope was that Dansby Swanson would blossom into a major league player and that Ender Inciarte would be a solid, dependable, everyday guy, which he's been in a whole lot more. A base hit, and Arizona's got him first and third. Drury chases Owings to third base, and now Daniel Descalso's coming up, and this is real trouble, Paul, because he's already 2 for 2, and the Diamondbacks have the right guy at the right time coming up.
It really is. This is a nice piece of hitting this ball down that way, and I want you to watch the base running right here. There's no hesitation. First to third on a right fielder who's got a good arm, Markakis. My point in that is the Diamondbacks stress base running in the minor leagues, how important that is. Paul Goldschmidt is the best base runner on the team. Power first baseman who pays such attention to detail in his base running. Has 13 stolen bases, but even if he's not stealing a base, he has the same amount as Pollock, their leadoff hitter. But even if he's not stealing a base, they put a lot of importance on that.
Line up the middle. Camargo backflip to nobody. And a run is in on another infield hit. This one from Descalso. And that ties the game. 3 straight Arizona singles. Drury safe at second. We've got a 1-1 game. Right off the glove again. That close to a double play.
Slowed it down enough. Camargo could have turned and thrown to first, but he tried to make incredible play, and he threw it and then looked, which is tough. Tough play to make. If you make it, it looks great. If it doesn't, you get questioned on why you didn't take the safe play.
Well, no harm, no foul. Double play still in order with Jeff Mathis up there. He's the catcher. He's 0 for 2. So the bottom part of the order up for Arizona. They may go for a big inning here. They've got action beginning in their bullpen. Braves won, Arizona won. The Diamondbacks with 7 hits. And cued back to the screen, even count. Mentioned Jeff Mathis has been around a while. He first got to the big leagues in 2005 with the Angels. He was a first-round pick in 2001. He's played in Toronto and most recently with the Marlins in Miami. Arizona signed him as a free agent last December. Right there, a strike.
You say, why is he in there? He's only hitting 182, but he is doing an excellent job, as we talked about, behind the plate, taking care of the young pitchers. As you see Luke Jackson warming up.
Little looper into right field. That's in for a base hit. Arizona's going to play it station to station. Mathis with a blooper on a 1-2 count. And 4 straight singles has him loaded up. And now the Braves have some thinking to do, as Walker's going to come up and hit for himself.
Excellent piece of hitting down away off the outside part of the plate. And I'm surprised they didn't send him with the pitcher coming up.
And that'll bring Chuck Hernandez to the mound for the first time.
That would have been tough. He didn't have a shot.
So let's see what Arizona thinks about here. You've got Drury, a fast runner, 90 feet away. You could see them try to get a bunt down. Walker has lined out and bounced out. Best possible scenario for Atlanta would be a double play. And now Torey Lovullo's out. He wants to talk things over with Dana DeMuth as well. Not sure what that was about, but I am sure the Braves have a mess now. Bases loaded, a run in, only 1 out.
You could see a potential squeeze here.
Swing and a miss. I'm a little surprised too, Paul, not necessarily in this situation, that teams haven't tried to bunt on Freddie Freeman just to see how he handles that play.
I agree with that.
That's Tony Perez Chico, the third base coach for the Diamondbacks.
You saw,
while a bunt might work, what a tough play that would be for the batter trying to put a knuckleball in play.
Absolutely. And you saw R.A. quick pitch right there. The squeeze is very dependent upon timing when that third baseman crashes and the hitter having to be ready, and R.A. quick pitching, which I really like, and it's that little shred of doubt that he may do it again.
Long inning for Dickey, an inning that began with a strike-3 call to Jake Lamb, but 4 straight singles has Arizona in business, and the game's tied at 1 apiece. There's a strike. Maybe what Perez Chica said to Walker is don't swing.
You saw Dickey throwing a fastball right there.
I'll throw him another one. Ground ball hit to short. Flip to second, 1. On to first. Stretch, got him. Double play. They did let him swing, and Arizona hits into a double play. They're going to take a look at the bang bang play at first. For the moment, it's an inning ending double play, And Arizona looks to settle for only 1 run.
Got to give credit to Walker here as the pitcher getting down the line. You can see Brandon Phillips does not treat him as a pitcher getting rid of it. That was close.
Ooh. Is there enough for Arizona to challenge the call?
Unfortunately, I think he's safe.
And apparently Arizona's not going to challenge that call at first. Bang, bang play. No challenge. No go-ahead run. And Atlanta may have been fortunate. Walker thought he beat it. Game's tied up.
Braves baseball is brought to you by your local Ford dealer and the Georgia Lottery.
Welcome back to SunTrust Park, everybody. We got a bottom of the 6th 1-1 tie between the Braves and Diamondbacks. Paul Bird, Chip Carey, Kelsey Wingert. How about Walker, Diamondbacks pitcher, on that last at-bat, Chip, busting it down the line. You see he has 85 pitches, 61 strikes. Here's what's tough as a pitcher. When you exert a lot of energy throwing the ball and you're out on the base paths running, and then you bust it down the line, and then you don't have time because you are the third out, and you run over and you got to grab a quick drink and run back out onto the field. You got to be careful with that first hitter, because you can fall behind 2-0, 3-1, and the next thing you know, it starts a rally. So you need a veteran on that bench to say, hey, take your time, calm down. For me, it was Jeff Brantley that taught me this, and I wasn't on the bases very much, Chip, but every now and then I found my way out there, and you need that veteran to tell you to relax, and hey, nobody's going to start until you get out there. We'll see what happens.
Jeff Brantley is an expert at relaxing, I think. That was probably the right guy at the right time to offer you that advice. And he got a little extra rested. Taijuan Walker, after that replay, they didn't start the game clock between innings until another minute and a half passed. So he got some extra rest on a hot night. But a tough inning ahead for him with Phillips, Freeman, and Matt Kemp coming up. 1-1 game now. Arizona's out hit the Braves 8-4 in a swing and a miss against the home 6th, started by Brandon Phillips. As I said a couple of times, this has been a telling inning for Taijuan Walker. He has not pitched beyond this 6th inning. 7 of his last 9 starts. And Phillips just missed a double.
That is something that Torey Lovullo, Diamondbacks manager, preaches, as give us 7 strong. As a starter, I don't need you to give me 9. I need you to give me 7 strong. And the bullpen, which has been totally different this year, is a result of guys being fresh and their starters focusing on giving a good 7 innings to give everybody adequate rest.
Well, Walker's given Torey Lovullo 7 strong exactly twice. in his first 14 starts. Pitching well tonight, his 88th offering for Brandon Phillips. His bounce to the right side. Goldschmidt handles a tricky hop and hits a big target on the run. 1 out. That was not an easy play for Goldschmidt, who gave ground at first. 1 away.
Playing in close, you're going to see him have to go back to his left diagonally, spin and throw. Nice footwork. Textbook. A lot of work on that in spring training carrying into the year.
So here's Freddie. He struck out his first time. He tapped back to the mound his second time. This is something that Walker's done an excellent job of late. You'd think left-handed batters would have the advantage against a right-handed pitcher with that curveball, slider, and cutter arsenal you've talked about. Well, including tonight's play, lefties have 9 hits in their last 51 at-bats. That one's hit high in the air, deep right center field. That one is gone. Another go-ahead home run for Freddie Freeman. And Atlanta's back in front 2-1 in the 6th.
Chip, I've never seen a guy that can just flat out roll out of bed and hit. This is a breaking ball that he hangs. First pitch was a curveball, and you cannot get away with that against Freddie Freeman. He's gone to the well too many times. The ball's up, got flat. Walker's thrown different breaking balls in this game tonight. I'm sure he wished he had that one back. It is amazing how sharp Freddie Freeman is after coming off the DL with a broken wrist.
Pardon me, Paul. That's 17 home runs for Freeman. 12 of them have either tied the game or put the Braves in front this year. So Atlanta leads again 2-1 with Matt Kemp, the other Brave, with an RBI tonight. So that left-handed batter magic that Walker had working came to an end here in the 6th. Lamb can't handle it. That's a defensive calamity, as he couldn't come up with that shot to third base. Runner at first, 1 out, 1 in. I'm guessing that's an error.
We had talked about Lamb's defense. He's such a good hitter. His defense has just been okay this year. He would tell you he should have had that ball that went right under him, but we'll see how they score it. I didn't see the glove touch the ball, but I think he'd tell you, you should have had it.
So Mike Butcher is out for a visit. Mike, a very successful pitching coach in the big leagues for many years with the Angels and Mike Scioscia. And now Dana DeMuth comes out to break up a very long 6th inning meeting.
Again, trying to give Walker a little bit of rest there, just calm him back down. Again, on the base paths, his start out has not been quite as sharp. That ball wasn't hit well. It pitches not as crisp.
So that play at third was ruled an error on Lamb. Nick Markakis, the batter, he's popped out and grounded out. Nobody up in the Arizona pen for the moment, as that one grazed the inside corner, a strike. Nick, a good cut, fouled it back, but he's 0-2 now. Snap throw to first, and a close play. Kemp just got back.
Very nice, reaching for the outside part of the bag. Tough play for the righty first baseman who has to reach around.
And Marquez didn't get it. He swings and misses. And he's the second out of the inning. That is the third strikeout for Walker in his first since the second inning. So let's see what Adams can do. Again, Matt riding a 3-game hitting streak. He struck out on a high fastball in the second, hit a towering fly ball to right that David Peralta caught in the corner. And he's kept the ball right at the letters or higher, it seems, against Adams all night.
There's that cutter into a lefty. There's the high slider that he hung to Freddie, but that is a faster, harder cutter that's up and into the lefty that if he keeps up and in, like we talked about early, can really tie up the lefty to where if they throw the head and hit it well, most of the time it's foul.
So a world of options for Taijuan Walker here. As he makes his 101st pitch. And it's tipped and caught, and that retires the side. Freddie Freeman comes through for Atlanta with a towering home run to right center field. His 17th of this 2017 season. He gives R.A. Dickey and the Braves a 1-run lead after 6 at home. Brought to you by Kaiser Permanente Thrive. It's 2-1, Atlanta the lead. And as we head to the 7th inning, the Braves are going to the bullpen. It's a 6-inning, 1-run outing for R.A. Dickey. He'll give way to Sam Freeman, who's pitching his 26th game this year.
Done a really nice job for the Braves. As you can see, left-handed batters only hitting .220 off him. Righty's a little better, but that's a good ERA. And coming out of the pen, he's pitched some important innings in some big games.
So the top 3 hitters coming up for the D-backs: Pollock, Peralta, Goldschmidt. Last 5 games for R.A. Dickey, he's given up 4 earned runs in 33 innings. And this has really, Paul, been the method to the madness, if you will, for Atlanta. Get the lead heading to the 7th and see if the bullpen can hold it. It's a bullpen that's without Arodys Vizcaíno, who's hurt. It's a bullpen that's without Jason Mott, who is disabled today. But as we've seen from Sam Freeman, he's got an upper 90s fastball, and he's begun to pitch more and more important innings in late stages of the ball game. Let's see what he does here with the top of the order coming up and a 1-run Atlanta lead. What you don't want to do is walk the leadoff man, and he's one pitch away from doing that.
That was a tough injury to Mott, who little back strain warming up in the bullpen on Sunday in Washington. There we go.
Pollock's 0 for 2 with a walk. And a liner to third. Freeman almost overplayed it, but he went to the knees and made the grab. 1 out. That's the question I think everybody had about Freeman moving to third base.
Yeah,
reaction time with a right-hand hitter up.
Yeah, a really big guy isn't supposed to have those kind of reflexes. Has done a really nice job at first base, but he has not played third base since 2007 before a couple weeks ago. Great reflexes right there.
So a nice rally for Freeman. Fell behind 3 balls and a strike, and the old Freeman combo gets the first out in the Arizona 7th.
That's a great catch by you. I never would have picked up on that.
Here's Peralta. Fans suggested that when Torey Lovullo came out and was talking with Dana DeMuth, he might have been talking about the quick pitch that struck out Peralta back in the 5th inning. Won't know until the reporters ask after the game. 2 balls, no strikes. And again, he's gone 3-0.
And you are allowed as a pitcher to change your delivery from the windup. You are allowed to do different things, but you know the batter has to be in the box and ready, and it looked like as soon as he stepped in, Dickey quick pitched him.
Three balls and a strike. Peralta was ready to flip the bat away.
Now this is a tough difference when you see Dickey, who throws staying inside the door frame, and now you see Freeman coming with that long arm from the left side, kind of slinging it at 94. That's a big change. So we talked about hitters having to adjust to that knuckleball, and it can potentially put you in a slump and it changes your swing. Now all of a sudden you have to adjust to a lefty bringing the heat who's slinging it, and that's tough to do in 1 inning.
Well, if there's been an area where Arizona has struggled, it has been their work against left-handed pitching. As a club, they're hitting just .225 against southpaws. As this one's hit towards center, Ender's going to catch that. And it's not because they haven't faced a lot of lefties. Remember, they play in the same division as the Los Angeles Dodgers, and the Arizona Diamondbacks play the Giants a lot. So you've got Bumgarner, you've got Ryu, you've got Wood, you've got Kershaw, of course. And there are some who suggest that's an area where Arizona really has to pick things up in the second half of the season. And they'll get a chance to see a lefty here on Sunday when Jaime Garcia makes the start for the Braves. Tomorrow night, it's Mike Foltynewicz. So make of that what you will. That's one reason why Freeman is pitching this 7th inning.
And you saw Flowers go out and talk to Freeman right there, because you have a righty Goldschmidt up with 2 outs, 2-1 game, and you've got Lamb, the lefty, on deck. There is a discrepancy between righties and lefties with Freeman, so he just makes sure that he's careful.
One ball, 1 strike. One thing we know about Goldschmidt, he's not afraid to take a walk. He's walked 57 times this year. Last year he led the league in bases on balls.
I was really impressed with him as a person in the locker room. Talking to him, he said that his dad can no longer throw a baseball because he threw so many to him and his two brothers. And it was just like you and I talking. There was no errors, and he was one of the best players in the league and one of the best guys off the field too.
High fly ball, deep left field. Kemp is back at the track, and Goldschmidt's tied the game. So Sam Freeman was trying to be careful. He wasn't careful enough. Goldschmidt with a 2-out solo home run ties it up. It's 2-2 in the 7th.
See breaking ball away, creeps over the middle and up. And that's tough because Lamb coming up as a lefty, you see Goldie staying back, getting lift on it. That's tough because you don't really want to walk him either, because then you bring up, you know, the winning run to the plate and you put the tying run on. So you have to be careful with him, and it just didn't work out.
Well, he was living a charmed life too, wouldn't you say, Paul? He fell behind all 3 hitters he faced to start the inning. Gets ahead of Lamb here with a quick first strike. And that just missed, even count. So no surprise, the 2 terrific first basemen, each with solo home runs in the late innings. Goldschmidt for Arizona, Freddie Freeman for the Braves, who, yes, is playing third base, but primarily has been a first baseman, as you know, and may play first base tomorrow with Patrick Corbin starting for the Diamondbacks. 2 balls, 1 strike. And a ground ball toward first. Adams plays it off his chest. Freeman to the bag, and that ends the inning. 7th inning stretch time in Atlanta. We're tied up again 2 apiece.
Your local Toyota dealer. Let's go places. And SunTrust.
Game tied 2 apiece. Goldschmidt a homer, Freddie Freeman a homer, and the Braves are coming up after the 7th inning stretch. Be a part of Alumni Homecoming Weekend, August 4th, 5th, and 6th, when the Braves take on the Marlins. With alumni autographs on Friday night, a new home run derby on Saturday, and alumni selfies on the field Sunday. It's a weekend you don't want to miss. Go to Braves.com/alumni for all the details. Greg McMichael does such a tremendous job with the Alumni Relations Bureau with the Atlanta Braves, and that is always one of my favorite weekends of the regular season. So we hope you'll join us next month when Miami's in town.
Great stuff. Jake Barrett coming into the game. He just came back a week ago from AAA. Recalled from AAA Reno on July 6th. He's got a nasty split. You see that ERA higher than he would like, but he's only thrown an inning in 2/3. So not a big deal, but they like this guy. Look for the split.
Tyler Flowers leads off. Big sequence in the game came in the 5th inning. He led off with a double. The Braves couldn't push him across. And that's off the plate, ball 2.
Coming in the game, throwing 96, 97. A Phoenix native. Went to Arizona State University, where I was recruited, Chip, and was so excited because Bob Horner went there and I had a blonde mullet just like him.
Popped up. And so you were recruited.
I was recruited. I went out there. Jim Brock was the head coach. Man, they had a lot of great players come through Arizona State. I was ready to sign up, and he never offered me a scholarship. They lost 3 in a row when I went out there. He didn't have good vibes with any of the recruiting class. And I got back on a plane sad and ended up at LSU, which worked out.
2 balls and a strike. As that one caught a corner. Yeah, Barrett, 4th player in Arizona Diamondbacks history to play high school, college, and Major League Baseball, all in the state of Arizona. He went to Desert Ridge High School in Mesa, and then, as Paul said, Arizona State. 3rd round pick in 2012. That's popped up out of play. And oh man, brutal. Fan right in the front row absolutely boxed it.
Where were they from?
Lawrenceville. Probably all shook up from the traffic on Friday coming to the ballpark. What a shame. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And a shot toward 3rd. Lamb's got this one. And he gets Flowers by a step. Here's out number 1. Here's Johan Camargo. He's 1 for 2. I think it'll be a 1 inning and done performance for Sam Freeman. He allows the game tying home run. And Jace Peterson grabs a bat. He's going to pinch hit next. That's over the outside corner, a strike. That's a little low. One thing we say about Johan is the ball jumps off this kid's bat. Has that distinctive ring to it when he hits it solidly.
Uses all fields, and if you see his eye black with initials, standing for members of his family who have since passed: grandfather Tonio, the T, grandmother Sarah, the S, Aunt Marietta, and cousin Orlando. And he credits his grandfather Tonio with really working with him and sharing his passion for baseball. I think that's a neat story, and he credits them and has never forgotten that.
2-1 pitch is up and away, ball 3. Camargo hit his first big league home run July 9th in Washington against Matt Grace. Now Lane Adams has a bat. Not Jace Peterson. We'll see how it works out. Pitch. Swing and a miss. Didn't get it. Full count.
I asked Camargo if he had a chance to make a great defensive player hit a home run, what would he pick? And he said,
popped up left side. Mathis and Lamb. It'll be Lamb. And there's the second out.
He said he would like to hit the home run, which I wish he would have done there. But he said, if it helps my team, I'll make the great defensive play. So I think young man off to a great start at the big league level.
1 for 3 tonight, and Lane Adams will grab a bat and pinch hit. Lane 5 for 23 with a home run as a pinch hitter, and this is a scouting report meeting from Mike Butcher, as Barrett, I'm sure, has not seen Lane Adams. Those are Lane's overall numbers. He can do a lot of different things. If he can get on, he can run like the wind. So let's see how things work out here. Game tied 2-2 after Paul Goldschmidt hit a 2-out solo home run a half inning ago.
And I like the National League for reasons like this. We've seen pitchers come up in big situations tonight. We've seen guys have to pitch after they ran the bases, and then you pull pitchers off the bench and see different looks. I enjoy the strategy in the National League better.
Yeah, Barrett following up Taijuan Walker, who gave up 2 runs, 5 hits in 6 innings. He can't win it or lose it. It's a battle of the bullpens the rest of the way. The pitch is way outside, even count. Arizona looking up at that scoreboard sees Miami winning 4-3 over the Dodgers tonight. So they're playing with extra motivation, trying to pick up a game out west. Swing and a miss. Washington is in the 9th inning, shutting out Cincinnati 5-zip. Mets over Colorado 12-2. Boy, the Rockies have really hit the skids. They've lost 12 of their last 15 games. The 1-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. High fastball gets Lane Adams. And that takes care of Atlanta in order in the 7th inning. 1, 2, 3, and out we go. And off we go to Rebecca Capel for tonight's big story. Rebecca.
All right. Thank you very much, Chip. And our big story tonight, the rise of one of the Braves outfield prospects, Ronald Acuna. The 19-year-old just promoted from AA Mississippi to AAA Gwinnett this week. And look at this, shining in his debut last night. He had a home run in his very first at bat, finished 3 for 5 with a walk. He's one of the youngest players in the upper minor leagues, but he is proving he belongs. Take a look at his numbers so far this season, batting .317, 13 home runs, and a .516 slugging percentage. I'd say he's doing pretty well. Well, welcome back into our set here in the Battery Atlanta. Rebecca Capel alongside Brian Jordan. All right, so is this guy the real deal or what?
Did you say 19 years old? He reminds me of Andrew Jones. And by the way, 2 months ago, Andrew Jones told me to watch out for Ronald Acuna because this kid is fantastic. He has all the abilities to be very successful, just like Andrew Jones. He plays great defense. He can hit the long ball. He went Apple Taco in his first game in Gwinnett. So I really like what I see out of this young man. You look at how he started this year in High A. He was great. And then he moved to Mississippi and got even better. And how about his start in Gwinnett? He has shown that he's getting ready for the big leagues.
And we could see it. It's legit, huh?
Oh, no question about it. He has legit power when he's hitting the ball that far opposite field. Right now, I think everybody in the organization is smiling and saying, watch out. We're waiting for this kid, the next Andrew Jones.
It's very exciting. The next Andrew Jones. Wow. All right, Chip and Paul, back to you guys.
That's high praise from a man as talented as Brian Jordan. I just hope he's the first Ronald Acuna. And as they were saying, Paul, Mr. Acuna is approaching what seems to be almost as untouchable as anybody in the Braves farm system. There was talk that Atlanta was deep in talks with the White Sox for Jose Quintana. I don't know if Acuna's name was brought up or not. There were some published reports tonight that said Ozzie Albies' name came up in those talks. Obviously, he went to the Cubs, but how exciting is this now that some of these young offensive players are starting to make their way through the system and approaching arriving here at the big leagues now?
Well, it's very exciting. And, you know, a lot of Braves fans are hitting me up on Twitter these last couple of years saying, hey, when are we going to get a hitting prospect? When are we just keep getting pitchers, trading for pitchers, drafting pitchers? Well, there you go. We got the 10th prospect in all of baseball, and he's a pitcher. I mean, a hitter.
And can't wait to see what he does the rest of the way at AAA. He went 3 for 5 in his debut with a home run, and as BJ said, he's 19. That's the really amazing thing about Ronald Acuna. So here we go to the 8th inning. Jose Ramirez on to pitch for Atlanta. 2-2 score. And it's Owings, Drury, and Descalso coming up.
And I want to talk about this game because that's what's going on now. But I do agree with what Brian Jordan said. It was an explosive home run to opposite field, and a home run is not just a home run. When you see something that you don't see very often, you get excited. So when you have a 19-year-old that's leaving the park way out to the opposite field and you see incredible explosiveness, you got to get excited.
Chris Owings leads off. He singled and scored the first Arizona run. 4 singles in a row in the 6th inning. And a line drive over Camargo's glove into left field on a 1-2 pitch. The Braves seemingly last couple of weeks, if there's been a nagging recurrence, it's the number of hits they've given up with 2 strikes. And that pitch a little too good for the Arizona shortstop, and he took advantage with a leadoff base hit.
Ball is down a little bit too much at the plate. Got to give the hitter credit right there. Just out of the reach of Camargo.
So here's Brandon Drury. He singled his last time up. Dickey, Freeman, and now Ramirez on the mound for Atlanta tonight. Paul, sorry.
No, Drury, when I asked the Diamondbacks about him, they said he hits good pitching. And there's something to that. Dave Magnin, my hitting coach when I was with Boston. And, you know, I said, hey, what do you think about when you think of this guy? And he said, Paul, there really is something to a guy showing up when there's a good guy on the mound. They like this guy, Drury. That's what he does.
Drury, a former Brave farmhand. Part of that big Justin Upton, Martin Prado deal a couple of years ago. Took him a while to continue to wind his way through the Arizona system, but here he is starting and playing excellent second base for them. 1 ball, no strikes. Runner starts, then stops. Snap throw back to first, and back safely was Owings.
Got to be careful with Owings with 11 stolen bases. A little fake stealing back to the bag.
One ball, 1 strike. Owings aboard with the 4th 2-strike hit by the Diamondbacks in tonight's game. They have 10 hits in total. Eight of them singles. Runner goes. The pitch, a ball. The throw sails into center field. And heading toward third. The throw is late. So Owings steals second, takes third on a short hop throw from Tyler Flowers. Brandon Phillips couldn't knock it down. It'll be a steal and an error. And now the Diamondbacks are in business.
This is a tough throw. Not quite into right center field, but so far off that Camargo's unable to get there behind, and then Inciarte with too long a run to come in to make that throw. It still gave a great effort.
So with nobody out, Arizona has a whole lot of options to play with here. Flowers has to block a ball in the dirt. And that missed low. 3 balls and a strike. Daniel Descalso has 3 of Arizona's 10 hits. He's waiting on deck. It was a great move by Torey Lovullo. He was 5 for 10 against R.A. Dickey. He went 3 for 3 against him tonight, including a run-scoring hit. Popped up. Shallow right. Markakis is there. And there'll be no advance. There's the first out. So Drury can't bring home Owings. Now it's Descalso.
That is a huge out. with no one out, not able to score the run. We'll see if Ramirez is able to capitalize here, bottom part of the order.
Arizona just 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position so far tonight. A trend we hope continues with Descalso, a perfect night at the plate. Infield still in for Atlanta. 1 out now, and the pitch is low. If you walk Descalso, you've got the catcher Mathis up, and that would set up a double play. And as hot as he is, again, I would think the Braves would be very, very careful here. And a good cut and fouled it back.
I agree again, and we're talking about 98 after seeing the knuckleball from the right side. Still a tough adjustment to make.
Dodgers just got 2 in the 9th inning. They've taken make that 3 in the 9th inning. They've taken a 6-4 lead in Miami tonight. I wonder if that was A.J. Ramos that gave it up. The pitch. He is off the plate. Ball 3. The Dodgers are on an unbelievable roll. I think they've won 24 of their last 30. And it was A.J. Ramos that gave it up in the 9th tonight. 3-1 pitch. Cued to the left side. Camargo charges. Strong arm. Throw to first. Got him. 2 out. No advance. Infield in. Save the Braves there. And Camargo with an excellent play. And now Mathis will be called back. Arizona will go to the bench. And they have 3 catchers, so they'll hit for Mathis here. Let's see who gets the call.
Excellent play on the run, going away from first base, throwing across his body. Watch how he has to throw across his body, get rid of the ball quickly, and get enough on it. Outstanding. The chip I threw up, I grew up throwing rocks at bottles on train tracks. Asked Camargo, I said, where did you get that arm? He said, throwing rocks at mangoes. So it doesn't matter where you grow up, you got to throw rocks if you want that strong arm. We don't have mangoes in Louisville, Kentucky, Chip.
I don't think they have them in Arizona either. Maybe they do in a potted plant area, but what a play as Ketel Marte's coming up. Marte was part of the Taijuan Walker deal. He's a switch hitter out of the Dominican Republic. Had some time in the big leagues before this season. 176 games, all of them with the Mariners until 2017. Ketel Marte, 6'1", 165 pounds. He's 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter. This is his 25th big league at bat this year. He's another one of those guys that had nothing left to prove at AAA. He led the minor leagues in hits when he was called up on June 28th. And was batting .338 with the Reno Aces. Now Ramirez will try to ace him and end the 8th inning.
Crowd's getting excited. You see him starting to rally.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Far enough. Let's end it right here. The pitch. All the way to the backstop. That's going to score the go-ahead run on a wild pitch. So Arizona cashes in the throwing error and the pitching error as Flowers had to reach across his body with a backhand, couldn't come up with it, and instead of a hard bounce off the signage, it died on the warning track, and that was easy for Owings to score standing up, and Arizona's in front.
That was the split rip, supposed to be away to the lefty, do across his body, cut it off, probably trying to do a little too much.
So Atlanta will have the top of the order in the 8th, but they're down a run. Single runs in the 6th, 7th, and 8th for Arizona. Not much that Tyler Flowers could do on that ball in the dirt, as Marte stays alive. Ball 4. So with 2 outs, a wild pitch, and now a walk. And Arizona goes to the bench again. This will be Chris Herman, and Brian Snitker is going to bring on a left-hander to face him. So Sam Freeman serves up a 2-run homer in the 7th inning. A 2-out wild pitch scores the go-ahead run for the Diamondbacks in the 8th. It's 3-2.
As we are still in the 8th inning, Rex Brothers in to pitch for the Braves. Now, the Braves really needed this break just to get healthy and to get that mental break, but they did come back with 1 injury. Jason Mott today was placed on the DL with a back strain. If you remember when the Braves were in D.C., he hurt himself throwing and warming up in the bullpen. Jason Hirsch has been recalled from AAA to take his place. Also, Danny Santana has been on the DL with a bacterial infection on his leg. They said that is clearing up nicely. He's going to play with Gwinnett this weekend and could rejoin Atlanta early next week. The same thing with Sean Rodriguez, who has been doing really well in AAA. He'll continue to play with Gwinnett this weekend, and he might join Atlanta next week as well. So Paul and Chip, we're loading up here, getting ready for the second half, getting some guys back. It's a good time.
Yeah, it's shuffle the deck time, it seems, and another new face for Atlanta. Rex Brothers is on for his 4th appearance. Brothers will try to retire Chris Herman, who's batting .179 and pinch hits for the Diamondbacks, who now, as Kelsey said, lead 3-2.
I don't believe in jinxing people, so I'm going to say it, but he hasn't given up a hit to a lefty. If you saw that average that we just displayed up there for you. Rex Brothers signed in February off a video that Brian Bridges, scouting director for the Braves, got and sent a copy, and they said sign him. I am amazed at what kind of an arm this guy had coming back off injury, throwing the ball 95 miles an hour from the left side. Outstanding pickup.
And pitched well in arguably the toughest place for a pitcher to work, Coors Field at Denver.
As a closer there out of Lipscomb University, in case you missed it earlier, R.A. Dickey, and he worked out in the offseason, and R.A. said, I think you're going to make a good reliever in the big leagues someday. Encouraged him, and he's never forgot that, so it's nice that they're teammates now in the big leagues.
And pitching in the same game, ironically enough. Dickey went 6, allowing 1 run, 8 hits. Sam Freeman, a home run allowed to Paul Goldschmidt in his inning. Ramirez 2/3 of an inning, a hit, and a wild pitch that puts Arizona in front. And now lefty versus lefty. Herman versus Brothers. As Marte, a short lead at first, is chased back. Fernando Rodney is the Arizona closer, so keep that in mind as we play on in these final 2 innings. The Braves will have the top of the order coming up in the 8th. Good pitch, good result. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Something that has been noticeable for the Braves this month. First, the 1-2 pitch is cut on and missed. It has been the struggles of the bullpen, much of that because of the injuries that Kelsey just chronicled. But Brothers does a good job. He limits the damage to 1 run. Top of the order coming up for Atlanta. Ender Inciarte, Brandon Phillips, and Freddie Freeman. It's a 1-run game. Bad guys lead it in the 8th. Watch the games on TV. You can stream them live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Download the app and take Fox Sports South and Braves baseball with you wherever you go. It's presented by Nissan. 3-2 Arizona has the lead. Time for Paul Bird to lead us to a comeback. Top of the order's coming up in the bottom of the 8th.
I'm ready, Chip. I've enjoyed the broadcast. This has been an outstanding game. Good pitching, some timely hitting, a little bit of everything, mixed in some great defensive plays. It's been fun to talk about. Chris Herman now the backstop for Arizona, replacing Mathis, coming in as a catcher.
And there's Archie Bradley. He's going to be the third pitcher of the night for the Diamondbacks.
This guy is a former starter, and Chip, you see those good numbers. Look at that walk to strikeout ratio, great ERA. He has an incredible knuckle curveball. Now, came out of high school, 7th pick overall out of Oklahoma. Very, very nasty. This is his first year as a reliever. Now, as a starter, he was 94, 95, 98 miles an hour coming out of the pen. As you can see, there's 96, but he can run it up there. He just got better, and I think he may have a better beard than Charlie Blackmon of the Rockies. Looking strong out there. We'll see. Excellent knuckle curve. Hinder's got his work cut out for him.
Well, it's a natural progression for Bradley. It's kind of the way things worked in the old days. Guys were given a chance to start, and if things didn't work out, they moved him to the pen. His record as a major league starting pitcher, 10-12 with a 5+ ERA. But with his power stuff, boy, what a valuable setup guy he's turned out to be. Coming in late in the game, blowing 97, 98 mile an hour fastballs by guys. This guy was a terrific athlete. He was committed to play quarterback at Oklahoma out of Broken Arrow High School.
Now it's 1-2. You got the lefty up, knuckle curve going straight down. We'll see if he goes to it here. Also has the choice of a high fastball.
Ground ball up the middle. Drury gives ground. Long throw. Ender beats the wrap. It's an infield hit. That time the shift cost Arizona a step on the bases, and that's what Ender needed to beat the play at first. And the tying runs aboard in the 8th inning.
Instead of going with his out pitch, he goes with the high fastball. Too much in the middle of the plate. Inciarte. Nice, easy swing and is out of the box early, getting down the line.
So let's see what the Braves can do. Right guys at the right time. Brandon Phillips can hit a fastball. Let's see if he guides one through the right side. He's 0 for 3 tonight, and in the depths of a pretty deep slump. Talk about that in a minute. The pitch. Here's a strike. Counting the 0 for 3 tonight, Brandon Phillips over his last 14 games has 7 hits and 52 at bats. And his average, which was over 300 for a good stretch, now in the high 270s as a result.
And he's one of those veterans you say, hey, coming back after the All-Star break, get a few days off, see if it helps.
Something else that helped him was an acupuncture treatment that he had in Washington. Felt it gave him some more mobility with his quad, which was bothering him. No balls and a strike. Line down the right field line. Fair ball headed for the corner. Ender around second on his way to third. He's going to be stopped. And Atlanta's in business. Second and third, nobody out. Phillips took that fastball the other way.
I love it, Chip. Now watch him throw the hands right there. Quickness, not trying to do too much. Head on the baseball and drives it the other way. You could see that front foot didn't even step. Got to catch up to 97. Drives it down the right field line. Absolutely beautiful. The Braves are in business.
So here's where it gets a little tougher. Number one, a fly ball of depth could get the game tied. But two things in play here. Opponents are 2 for 28 against this guy with runners in scoring position. Freddie's got 2 of them and nobody out. Off-speed pitch, and he had it covered but fouled it straight back.
That just amazes me right there. Bradley coming out of the chute with the knuckle curve 85. Freddie Freeman sitting on it and just misses. If I'm a pitcher in this situation, I say, why was he sitting breaking ball from a righty? Outstanding.
I wouldn't throw Freddie a fastball unless I had to. The pitch. He did. It's a base hit. 1 run scores. Here comes Phillips around third. He stumbles atop the bag. The throw comes into second, and he's going to score anyway. Phillips tripped over the third base bag. The throw went in slowly to second base. Phillips saw that, scored anyway, and the Braves are in front again.
The shift hurts him, and when you see Freddie after he got his thousands hit, they were sprayed all over the yard, but usually it's in the air. You see the trip right there, but poor communication in the outfield, and Phillips able to score on the mishap.
So Archie Bradley, who had the best ERA by a relief pitcher in the game since May 31st, has come in the 8th inning and has promptly surrendered 3 consecutive hits, 2 Atlanta runs, and Torey Lovullo and the Diamondbacks trail now 4-3 in the inning. Here's Matt Kemp. This is a battle of Oklahoma now. Bradley out of Muskogee, Oklahoma. Matt Kemp from Midwest City.
That is great heads-up base running. Ron Washington seeing behind him, seeing the balls going into second base, the little things he could have very easily told Brandon get back to third, but did not quit on the play and sent him. Great stuff.
We'll find out if Freeman gets 1 or 2 RBIs on that play. Again, the throw came back towards second base. Phillips would have scored had he not stumbled. But no matter how you scored, it's a 1-run Braves lead in the 8th.
Poor communication in the outfield by the Diamondbacks. I'm not sure who you would give an error to there.
Line down the right field line again by Kemp. And surprisingly, it's Gregor Blanco who came in for defensive purposes, who I guess was conceding the run Phillips scoring. It's impossible to anticipate him falling off after tripping over the base.
And you can't watch the base runner as you're fielding the baseball. You have help out there, and so you have other outfielders or a shortstop telling you where to throw the ball, because they can look at the base running while the play is going on. So it's a situation where it's not really his fault. It's just an unusual play, and again, poor communication. The Braves not taking anything for granted, being on top of it, sending Phillips anyway.
So after Kemp strikes out, we get official word. It is a 1 RBI play for Freeman. And Bradley gets the first out of the inning. Now he's got a tangle with Nick Markakis. Top of the Arizona orders coming up in the 9th inning. Jim Johnson is warming up in the Braves bullpen. Markakis 0 for 3, struck out last time. Let's see if he can chase Freeman around. How about Ender Inciarte? The infield hit got things started. Phillips with a terrific at bat. Lined a double into the right field corner. Then Freeman with a base hit. Credited with 1 RBI, but 2 runs scored on Stumble-Palooza around third base.
Yeah, I'm shocked at that. I would give him 2 RBIs. Is it RBIs or RBI?
It's RBIs.
Okay, I'm with you. Gretchen in the Fox truck disagrees.
Well, she's a very disagreeable person, Paul.
Okay.
But the AP style book says the plural for runs batted in is RBIs.
See, that's why you're a pro.
And well, if it was good enough for Vin Scully to say RBIs, it's good enough for me. No balls and a strike. Right there, it's 0-2.
Don't you like it when you get the final say and Gretchen's out in the truck and can't respond?
Oh, she can respond. But it's a family show. No balls, 2 strikes. The pitch is up and away. It's 1-2. Dodgers did win 6-4 down in Miami. Pirates beat the Cardinals 5-2. Washington finished off the shutout, beating Cincinnati 5-0. Mets are killing Colorado 14-2. A chance for Atlanta to gain some ground on the Rockies in the wild card chase. The pitch. 2-2. Tell you what, something else that's really fun and entertaining about this Braves team, something Joe and I have talked about a lot, is how the Braves seem to somehow, some way manufacture offense in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, or beyond, of course, an extra innings play. Seems like the harder the guys throwing against them, the better they hit. Swing and a miss. Ball in the dirt with first base occupied. Markakis is struck out. That's twice he's gone down swinging. And Bradley has his second strikeout in a row.
I agree with you, Chip. It's one of the reasons I really have taken to this team. There's nothing that takes a lot out of a team more than late inning losses, games where you think you have the game won and then you find out losing. It's a very disappointing locker room. But the same is true when you rally and you come back late. It energizes a team. It's fun to follow. These guys are never out of it. They scrap. It doesn't matter if Freddie is hurt or if he is in there. Somebody is finding the way to get the job done.
Drury playing in shallow right field for Arizona with Adams up there, and that's up and away, ball one. So Braves starting pitching's been markedly improved. The Braves offense has been very consistent. They're catching the ball. The one area that's somewhat concerning in July has been the work of the bullpen. Counting tonight's action, the Braves have given up 28 earned runs in 30 1/3 innings in relief. And again, some of that has to do with the injuries. Vizcaíno being hurt is a big loss as a setup guy for Jim Johnson. He's due back any day. But right now, Brian Snitker's mixing and matching, trying to find a combination until he can get his bullpen back in order. Line drive into left field. Blanco's coming on, sliding try, can't get it. The ball's behind him. Freeman read it well. He's on his way to third. Throw back to first. Adams safe there. Atlanta runners at the corners. That's 4 hits in the 8th inning off Archie Bradley. Talked earlier about Arizona's base running. Freeman with 2 outs, off at contact, and that's how he got to third.
That is a very nice pitch right there. Matt Adams with a very short and quick path to the ball. Doesn't try to do too much with it. Good things happen when you know the situation. We talked about this team and how they play. One of the things I've noticed is they do what they did right there. They can hit situationally. 2-3 years ago, I didn't see that. I saw guys swinging the fences a lot of time. They had low averages, they had high strikeouts, and I don't feel like they fought back as well as they could have or hit to the situations. This team is different. Everybody takes turns. They know when to go for the fences. They know when to go the other way. Excellent, excellent approach from Matt Adams.
First time Archie Bradley's given up 4 hits in an inning all year long. He has been as dependable and as devastatingly good as anybody else in the game. And again, left-handers were 2 for 28 with runners in scoring position against him so far this year. They're 1 for 1 against him tonight. And Tyler Flowers a chance to give the Braves some insurance. Bradley's given up 1 earned run in his last 19 innings. He's given up 2 and the lead tonight.
I think we're once again finding out that Freddie Freeman is an anomaly. I can't figure it out.
He's amazing, isn't he?
It doesn't matter, and he just simply does the job.
7-game hitting streak for him. Freeman now with 12 hits in that stretch since coming off the disabled list. And he's 90 feet away. Matt Adams at first. 4-3 Braves in the 8th. Trying to steal one away from Arizona's bullpen tonight. And 2.
And Chip, you mentioned the bullpen earlier, having thrown in the bullpen, having been a starter, but starting out in the big leagues for the first 4 years out of the pen. It's like the O-line. You know, they're expected to do well, and then when they falter, it's very noticeable because of what we talked about, the late inning losses. But I do think they have a good bullpen. I do think it just runs in cycles, and they'll right the ship.
No balls, 2 strikes. Good cut by Flowers to stay alive.
Flowers, another very big guy who can choke up on the bat, hit the ball the other way, not try to do too much, but also in certain situations can take you deep. We saw that with Adams. We'll see how he does here with the 0-2. Cuts down on his swing, tries to get possibly RBI going the other way.
If nothing else, with all these pitches that Bradley's throwing tonight, perhaps he might not be available tomorrow for Arizona. Won't know till we get to action. 6:30 tomorrow night for Braves Live. Mike Fultonevich will make his first start of the second half. Boy, Mike's been terrific. Strike 3, and that's the inning. But how about the Braves? 2 runs, 4 hits. Freddie Freeman with a 1 RBI hit. Brandon Phillips scores on a defensive miscue, and Jim Johnson will try to nail it down in the 9th next.
Four to 3 as we head to the 9th inning. Welcome back into our Fox Sports set here in the Battery Atlanta. I'm Rebecca Capel alongside Brian Jordan. Coming up tonight on Braves Live post game, we will have reaction from the clubhouse, and we'll take a closer look at Ari Dickey and Freddie Freeman's night.
Still getting hot. Ari Dickey, Freddie Freeman. Wow, right now they are saving the game.
All right, we hope to see you immediately following the game. Chip and Paul, back to you.
All right, Rebecca and BJ, there's only one man we want to save the game, and that's the man that's about to make his first pitch in this 9th inning. You see the defensive changes. Johan Camargo to third, Dansby Swanson in at short. Freddie Freeman moves across the diamond to play first base again. And it's Jim Johnson who will come on and try to save this game for Rex Brothers, who's the pitcher of record for Atlanta in relief tonight.
Jim Johnson, higher ERA than he wants. You see righties and lefties hitting about the same. Very tough to hit. Nasty sinker, splitter, ground ball guy. See if he's able to lock this one down.
I think Jim in his last 3 outings has had the leadoff man reach in all 3 of them. And if there is an indicator of whether Jim has good stuff, it often is that first batter faced. And in a 1-run game, get that first guy, and it's going to be a tough inning. 1, 2, and 3 for Arizona. Pollock, Peralta, and Goldschmidt. Line drive right center field. Ender on the run near the bullpen fence. Reaches up and makes the catch.
That was fantastic, Chip. Incredible route. Nicely timed jump right on the yellow padding, and this ball was smoked, so there was not a lot of time for him to time it with his jump. Excellent. Even got his spike caught in the fencing a little bit.
Oh, I hate to see that.
No harm done.
Braves had an outfielder years ago, Brian Asselstein, at the old ballpark. Got his spikes caught in the chain link fencing. Tore up his knee and was never the same. Luckily, Ender got enough of the padding to not have any difficulties after he made a great catch for the first out. Here's David Peralta. 1 ball, 1 strike. Peralta's reached twice, once with a 3rd inning hit. That had some action on it. That's more Jim Johnson like. 1-2.
Nice curveball. When that curveball is down, it's devastating. A lot of his pitches are ground ball pitches. He is a closer that comes in and he's going to get that strikeout, can also get that good ground ball. A lot of times he gives up cheap hits because of that. You'll see a lot of infield singles off him because guys just beat it into the dirt.
Put him away. 1-2 pitch. Little pop. Phillips will drift back. Had him off stride. Good pitch. Better result. The Braves are not away from a win. But what a man to try to get with the game on the line. Paul Goldschmidt.
Chip, we've got a packed house, a lot of energy. We got fireworks coming up. Why not end it facing their best? Paul Goldschmidt, a home run in this game. Very, very dangerous. We're going to throw our closer at him, see what we got. I'm excited for this matchup.
Strike outside corner. A game that may forever be known as the Stumble Rumble home game by Brandon Phillips. That's the difference in the game. A strike. 0-2. And listen to SunTrust Park. Johnson ready. The 1-2 pitch. Yanked into the Arizona dugout. Do it again. Swing and a miss, and that's your ball game. The second half starts with a bang indeed. Atlanta comes back with 2 in the 8th inning to steal victory away from the Diamondbacks. 4-3 is your final score. Rex Brothers the winner, Jim Johnson the save. And the Braves continue doing what we said earlier, Paul. Great work late innings offensively.
Love that stat. 15 wins in the last at-bat, most in the major leagues. Again, that's how you build great team chemistry with these late inning comebacks. Great start by R.A. Dickey. Very, very fun game to watch.
2 runs scored by Ender Inciarte. Freddie Freeman with 2 RBIs. And that's your final. More in a moment.